Alright, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. I'm clearly technologically incompetent and clicked the wrong button. Also, I apologize. We appear to have not had audio for most of that setup time. So somehow you guys are sitting there in silence. And I thank you for sticking with us while you had to sit there and listen to nothing. So thank you for that. We are here. It is time. We have gone through a grueling 2-day event. We've had people throwing haymakers. We've had people throwing planes. We've had people, psychically making people blow up. We've had, spontaneous combustion. Now it's time for some championship 40K. And that's what we were at. We were in the final round. We were in the championship round. We have, I think it's 8 undefeated players, all vying to get in the top 3. All these undefeated players trying to get enough battle points that they can jump into the top 3 and get that podium position at the major that is the Michigan GT. So we have an exciting round for you guys. I do want to go ahead and start by saying all the players are setting up terrain. If you, let me move my computer closer, let's get that zoom in. If you have not yet been to War Games Live on YouTube, please make sure you head over there to their stream and check it out. They're streaming the other undefeated championship match. We have number 1 and number 2 on the streams this round. We have the number 1 player in the tournament based on battle points right now, Michael Sarapata, on the stream with us, playing Ad Mech against Luke Bumpus' Custodes. I believe Luke is in 4th place at the moment. On the War Games live stream on YouTube, if you go check them out, you will see Brad Chester, the great old one himself, 2nd place in this tournament right now, a single point behind Michael Sarapata. He is playing against an extremely unconventional orc list on the other channel. That other orc list has a Stompa. That's right, folks. You heard me. We have a Stompa at the top table in the final round of the Michigan GT. So that's going to be super fun. I think there's also a kill tank, a battle tank, kill tank over there. I can't see, but that's what Brad told me. So, it's time to get both those monitors fired up, everybody. You're going to have table 1 on the left, table 2 on the right, and we're going to have some good times. So let's talk a little bit more about what we have going on at table 1. Oh, before I forget, I'll put them in social, or put them in chat. While you're over there checking out War Games Live, check out our YouTube channel as well. We are currently live streaming there as well as on Twitch. All the videos from here will be uploaded at midnight to YouTube, so you can watch them at your leisure if you want to rewatch a match. Impure Bishop, I believe it is. Thank you for the follow, sir. I think I missed Thomas Brannick earlier. Thank you for the follow. We really appreciate your support. If you guys have time, head over to the YouTube channels for both War Games Live and us. If you can give us, I know it's annoying, I hate when I hear it in every single video, but that like, follow, subscribe, it'll help us get our numbers high enough that the algorithm, when people start looking for 40K, they'll be able to find some stuff from our channels as well. So we appreciate your support with that. So let's get into the nitty gritty right now. We have Ad Mech versus Custodes. So Michael Sarapata is currently by 1 point the overall leader in the Michigan GT. Let's look at what he's brought today. He's playing Ad Mech. Those of you who've been hanging out with Death or Glory for a while, you may remember Michael Sarapata from the top table in the finals, the Motor City Mayhem we ran earlier this year. He was playing Ad Mech there. Chester, before the, I think it was before the Ad Mech's codec came out, but while Drukari was still obnoxious after they had just come out. So he's been on this Ad Mech train for a while, even before the codecs. And obviously it hasn't gotten any worse for him. So we have the Army of Renown Skitarii veteran cohort. So he's all about those Skitarii models in this list. We do have some extra relics and such. Let's get to the main meat of things. We have a Skitarii Marshal with a control staff, Radium Serpenta, the Skitarii veteran cohort relic, and the Skitarii veteran cohort warlord trait for calculate without diversion. They have a tech priest Manipulus, who has the raiment of the Techno Martyr as his relic. Then we have a 15-man Skitarii Ranger unit, a 5-man Skitarii Vanguard unit, a 5-man Skitarii Vanguard unit, and another 5-man Skitarii Vanguard unit. All with radium carbine. Well, the Vanguards have carbines and the Rangers have galvanic rifles. For elites, we have an 8-man Sakaran Ruststalker unit, a 9-man Ruststalker unit, and another 9-man Rust Stalker unit. So we got a lot of melee Ad Mech with all these transonic blades. Then it's time for the dog and pony show, my friends, as we're bringing out the Cerberus Raiders. That's right, the Ad Mech ponies are here to play. We have it looks like 7-man Cerberus Raider unit, and then 2 3-man Cerberus Raider units. So we're going to talk about the pony power. Oh, we have Mr. Gaddis here back with us, joining us back. Hello, sir.
Hello. I was at my day job.
All right, get you hooked up here.
Oh, you know what? Let me go grab some water.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So, we have the pony show. So those of you who haven't gotten to witness the pony power that Adbeck offers, you're in for, I would say, a treat, but maybe surprise is the better word. But you're in for something as we get to see the obnoxious power of the ponies. Then we got the flyer detachments. We got 2 Stratoraptors, both with twin glass cannons and chaff launchers, 2 heavy stubbers, 2 heavy blasters, and las cannons, twin las cannons. Then we have another Army of Renown Scutari veteran cohort. This is a patrol detachment. We have a Scutari Marshal with Exemplar's Eternity and Program Retreat. Then we have another 15-man Ranger unit with galvanic rifles. Then we have, looks like 2 individual Ballistari, and then we have a 3rd Stratoraptor. So we have 3 flyers, but we only have 45 Scutari, and then we have the, almost 27 Rust Stalkers as well. So this is something we mentioned about. E. Madison, thank you so much for the follow or the subscribe on YouTube. We really appreciate it. We love it when you guys support us so we can get those numbers up so the YouTube algorithm gods will bless us by letting people see our content. So thank you so much for that. Right, get the Discord up while my table spotter is starting to message me. All right. Adbeck got first drop, right? Petra, you meant first drop, right? You meant first drop, right? Not first turn. Yeah. You said first turn. I meant I was making sure I knew what you meant.
Sorry, I thought it was tied to first, whoever rolled.
No, there's 2 separate rolls now. Okay. Yeah. So that's fine. I was making sure. All right. So we got a lot. I mentioned it in an earlier stream. We've seen. I think we've seen Siegler at. I don't know if it was the way he had his list constructed for New Orleans. We had this list in Orlando, very melee-centric with the Rust Stalkers and Infiltrators, and we're seeing that here. We got 3 big melee units of Rust Stalkers, and under most circumstances, that's enough to chop through the other side. Well, let's talk about what's on the other side, because they're less easy to chop through than your average bear. All right, so we have Luke Bumpus bringing some Custodes today. So we have a Shadow Keepers patrol? Outrider, Shadow Keepers Outrider. Bringing in Trajan Valoris and a Shield Captain on a jet bike. The Shield Captain has the Auric Aquilus, which is, I believe, the bike that gives the extra invuln save. And he's Captain Commander, Emperor's Champion, and Slayer of the Unclean. We have a 3-man Sagittarium unit. Then we have a Cutodes Dreadnought, which is the melee Dreadnought. Just waiting for announcements to stop. Alright, so we have a Cutodes Dreadnought, which is the melee one with the spear and breastplate, shield and sword. Then we have 3 Palace Grav Attacks, which are just like the small vehicles that you see them on the screen already. Smaller vehicles that Custodes have. They put out, as all Custodes do, some pretty efficient shooting, but allow them some speed, durability, and mobility that the regular infantry may not have. Then we have a 5-man unit of Virtus Praetors, each with salvo launchers, not bolters. No hurricane bolters. So we actually got I believe the salvo launcher is like a melt-a-gun. Then we have double Telemon. So 2 Telemon heavy dreadnoughts, each with a Arachnus cannon and a Caestus, however you say it, the punchy fist. They each have a fist and a gun. So you got a little bit of shooty, a little bit of punchy. The fist gives them an extra attack. Obviously that attack is quite powerful. We'll see if, I don't think the fist is going to have any great target. I think the The ponies are multi-wound, the rust stalkers are multi-wound. The fist is like flat 4 damage. Obviously that doesn't matter against all the 1 wound like Ranger and Vanguard, but it absolutely may matter if he gets a chance to punch some ponies in the mouth, which is definitely not a sentence that I thought I would say today. So we'll see how it goes. First impressions, we'll see what chat thinks. First impressions for me is I feel like we're kind of in a similar situation to what we saw last round. Last round we saw Custodes take on Colin McDade's Orcs, and the problem we predicted ended up coming to bear, that there just wasn't enough stuff on the Custode side. The Orcs were able to shoot enough, they had enough dice they could throw at stuff to power through the durability of the Custodes, and then they just ran out of models. It seems like that on paper could be something that Luke is going to have to overcome to win this mission. Obviously, there are way more models on the Ad Mech side of this table than there are going to be on the Custode side. Custodes are extremely durable, but it's a question we talked about last round, another immovable object versus unstoppable force. Can you be so durable that when Ad Mech throws hundreds of dice at you, that you can survive it? And that's definitely not easy, or Ad Mech would not be nearly as good as they are. So we're going to see how well they can pull it off right now. All right, I'm going to stand up for one moment, chat. I'll be right back. I'm not going anywhere. Hey, Bill. Bill, do you guys have drinks over there? Water or Gatorade or whatever. Do you guys have anything?
Yeah, I got a bunch of ball.
Cool. Yeah, I just need something to hydrate. Thank you. I'm gonna. Got to keep that throat hydrated when you're talking all weekend, chat. Gotta stay hydrated. I'm pretty sure. You know, I'm a teacher by trade. I talk for a living, literally. And this is the most tired my throat has been in a long time. Haven't done something as intense as this since Motor City ended back in April. So it should be really, really exciting. All right. So I will say, while we're kind of waiting on the players to deploy, get everything set out. Again, we have on our sister stream on War Games Live, we have Orcs versus Drukhari. And again, it's not normal Orcs. It's not Air Force Orcs. There is a Stompa in that list, and there is a Kill Tank in that list. So that's going to be super cool. We have, let me bring it over here again. We have Adbeck is playing Sisters on table 3. Tom Ogden's Adbeck are playing Mike Henderson's Sisters on table 3. And then Michael is playing Luke. I think that's all of our undefeated players. Yeah. No, that's fine. Thank you. Yeah, so we have 6 undefeated players. So basically, these players are trying to funnel into the podium.
Let me know if you need more.
Thank you. We got 6 undefeateds left. We're starting this round with an Ad Mech, a Drukhari, an Ad Mech, a Sisters, an Orc, and a Custodes. Those are our 6 final undefeateds. 2 Ad Mech, Sisters, Orcs, Drukhari, Custodes. All of these players are playing for a final spot on the podium, as we're not going to have the rounds to funnel down to one individual undefeated. So these players not only, Mustard Tiger, thank you so much for the follow, we appreciate it. So these players are not only trying to obviously win their games this round to stay undefeated. Because of the way the tiebreaker system works here at Michigan GT, battle points are prized above all else. So the players, to get on the podium, need to make sure that they score an aggressive number of points during the round. They can't just passively try to win the game. A lot of times you'll see in the 5th round, you don't have to take risks, you don't have to be aggressive, you just need to not die and find a way to win by like a single point. If the players do that in this round, they're going to get jumped. They could even get jumped by players with a loss, which I know sounds crazy, but that is how this tournament is structured, is that they want to encourage players to be aggressively playing the game in all 5 rounds. And so battle points count more than win-loss. Okay? So these players, not only do they need to win these games to get on the podium, they need to win so with the kind of scores they've had all event. All of these players to be in the top 6 have been winning with a lot of 90s and upper 80s. They need to do that again against the best competition they've faced all weekend. So it's going to make for a very interesting round. Take another swig, chat. All right, let's go ahead and go over secondaries for a moment while we're waiting on the players to finish deploying. Looking at Luke's secondaries, Luke got engaged on all fronts, grind them down, and no prisoners. Grind them down makes sense a lot. Let's go through these, make sure I remember which ones are which. Turn my computer for a minute so I can type. Grind them down is kill more, which makes sense when you have as few units as Luke does, and they're not supposed to die quickly. It's definitely going to, grind down makes a lot of sense that if you can just kill a couple of those 5-man units or those 3-man ponies or whatever, and not let Michael pick up multiple units of Custodes, he's going to start getting 3 points a turn for that. Engage, he wants to really take advantage of these Virtus Praetors, or not Virtus Praetors, I'm sorry, the Palace Grab Tanks. These are his kind of disposable units. They're only 95 models, or 95 points a model. They can fly out, go ahead and touch some objectives. Now in this mission specifically, I want to point out, if you touch an objective, you hold it until the other person takes it. So those Palace Grab Tanks could fly over to maybe the corners and touch those. They could be getting up engaged and holding those objectives to begin with right out of the gate, which would be really impressive. Continuing on, we have no prisoners, which I believe is don't let your or is it kill all the models. I'm double checking. Yeah, so he's going to get a point for every 10 models that he kills on the Ad Mech side. So you can even see as we're starting to deploy, there's a lot of ponies, there's a lot of Ruststalkers, there's a lot of Scutari, Vanguard, and Rangers. For every 10 wounds that he kills, he's going to get a point. Now those Ruststalkers and ponies, I believe, are 3 wounds each, so it's going to add up pretty quickly if he starts picking those up. So it'll be very, very helpful. And then engage on all fronts, as we said, Palace Grab Tanks can run over to the corners and try to get those, because those are not the most threatening thing on the table. So it's going to be a question of, does Michael want to address those and deny the points, or does he want to focus on the things that are a more immediate threat to what he's trying to do in the middle of the table? On Mike's side, we have Stranglehold, Raise the Banners, and Data Intercept. Data Intercept is the mission-specific one, I believe. Double check. Data Intercept. So, every turn, he can have a unit from his army do an action. As long as there's no other, it's got to be on an objective, and there has to be no enemy models or units on that objective. All right. At the beginning of the next turn, he'll complete it, and every time he completes it, he gets a number of points equal to however many objective markers he's holding. So basically, he's going to have a unit in the back corner that's his deployment zone. He's going to have a unit do data intercept every single time. Fun thing, it doesn't have to be, this is one of the actions that doesn't have to be an infantry unit. He could, if he wanted to, have a chicken do it. Chicken probably has important things to shoot at since there's Dreadnoughts here. But literally any unit that's holding an objective could do this. So he's going to do his action, and then he's going to see how many objectives that he can move out and touch and hold. Now again, you don't have to be physically on the objectives in this mission. You just have to touch them, you can leave, and then the other person has to have not been able to touch them yet. So that situation happens, either he's on them or he is the last person to hold them, then he's going to get that many points at the beginning of each of his turns. So you could, in theory, get 6 points a turn. That's not going to happen. But if you could start getting 3 or 4 every turn, then you don't even have to interact with the opponent very much. You just get those points. All right, so we have a die roll. And while I'm going to get this information right now, who's going first. I will say that this plan goes along with Stranglehold. Stranglehold says you need to hold 3 objectives at the end of your turn. At the end of your turn, not at the beginning, you don't have to survive. At the end of your turn, you need to hold 3 objectives, and you need to make sure that your opponent has less than 3. So if your opponent is on 3, and you shoot all of them off of one of them, and they only have 2 at the end of your turn, you get your 3 points. So it's one of my favorite objectives. I think it might be the most powerful objective in the new book. And we've just discovered Ad Mech is going first. And you have to imagine if you're Luke, that's probably not what you wanted. Because now we get to see the full force of these planes brought to bear as they are going to yeet themselves across the table and start looking for some juicy targets. So we'll see. I mean, Michael may be conservative. Most of the infantry model you see in Luke's army is kind of in that bottom left corner in that ruin. I don't know how many of the planes are going to be able to get angles to that. And the planes, they do have the twin las cannons. The planes are probably not ideal at shooting the Telemons. So we'll see how he decides he wants to go about dissecting what Luke has on the table. All right. All right, so we are seeing a pregame move to start with. This is not a regular move. The ponies, again, pony power. We're going to get to see the pony power right now as they all get a pregame move before they even get started. So this is really going to help if Michael wants to go ahead and reach out and touch all of those objectives. Custodes, there are some faster things in this list. What? Custodes got turn 1. Okay, that's a big difference.
I asked and nobody answered, and then I saw Raiders moving.
Yeah, it was a pregame move. Yeah, okay. So that's a huge difference then. Custodes are going to go first. So these ponies are going to have to be careful then. And that's why you're seeing Michael pull some of them back. That makes way more sense if Luke is going first. He's pulling them back because you could pregame move them over to some objectives. You go and get out there. That works way better if you're going first, because right now if he did that, he could just be giving the Palace grav tanks or some Dreadnoughts a charge target, which is just going to give it extra move to take that objective, and he doesn't want to do that. So right now, he is kind of forward deployed a 3-man unit of ponies to an objective that Luke is going to be able to get to no matter what he does, so whatever. And the Dreadnought can't really charge the ponies, and let's talk about why. First of all, we do have our prayers for the first turn. Adbeck has gone Shroud Psalm and Protector Doctrinal on the first turn. So we see Luke is going to reach out and touch as many objectives as he can. Again, this is why the Palace grav attacks, I think they're called, are in the list. They have speed. They're not crazy killy. They have speed and durability, and they can go out and they can touch things, especially on this mission, where that's all you have to do is touch them, and then you can hold on to it for a little bit. Now, the Adbeck player is obviously going to be able to counter this, as they have a bunch of obsec things they're going to be able to come forward, which is why it looks like Luke is not going to overextend to that bottom right too far. He knows that he could go over there, then the Adbeck player is just going to get down there anyway, so there's no reason to really worry about going and making that push down there. All right. Got Mr. Gaddis back. We'll get us all in the shot here. The green light's good. Yeah, you're already good. I probably just didn't turn it off after you.
Yeah.
Wait, was it flashing red?
Yeah, is it battery's about to die?
Probably these batteries, but I'll go to get another one out.
Okay. Had to relieve my counterpart real quick. Everybody needs a bathroom break, so there's that. Where's it go in at? Oh! You don't have to unscrew the bottom and pull it.
Not on this one.
So used to the walkie-talkies I had as a kid. We had to go through all kind of changes to get the batteries in. C batteries.
We've come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So my counterpart had to relieve them. So I came back and they were like, I gotta go. I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, you're the only one here. All right, go. I'll wait.
Oh, we're good. It's all good. We got started. We went over the basic information, and we just started moving stuff right now.
Okay.
So we have Ad Mech versus Custodes.
Beautiful.
Ad Mech, one of the two
very strong
best armies in the game right now.
This year, yeah.
Incredibly powerful, incredibly high output of damage.
Another flyer list.
Yeah, now this one's a lot more consistent shooting. They don't have the bucket, but they've got a very high number of things that hit on threes.
Yeah.
So we have, this is the double Army of Renown. This is the Scutari army. So everything in this army has a Scutari keyword.
Okay.
So we've got like 30 Rangers, 15 Vanguard, we got 3 planes, we got 2 Las Chickens, and then we have a bunch of melee stuff, which is not normal for Adbeck. This has 2
Striders?
No, these are Ruststalkers. These are the guys that have swords for hands.
Gotcha.
So we have 3 big units of those. and then we have the pony power. Have you heard about the pony power, Mr. Gaddis?
Inform me on that one.
So pony power
Not
is
up on
great.
my...
So we have these things called the Cerberus Cerberus Raiders, which there's 3 of them here. There's a 6-man unit and a 7-man unit and a 3-man unit over
Sulfur
there.
Hounds?
They're the other version of the Sulfur Hounds.
Okay.
Yeah. So they are incredibly obnoxious because they have 2 rules that matter. One of them is not going to matter here. They have 3. They have a pregame move, which is always good. Mm-hmm. They have all assault sniper guns.
Ooh.
So if you're playing like guard or Ad Mech or whatever, and you have weak individual characters, you can be very annoying in that. Yeah, not good at killing large units, but you can kill an individual character too.
Right.
But the main thing is they have this wonderful strat where if you charge them for 1 CP, they can move 12 inches, and then you have to finish your charge.
Oh no!
So
they can get the hell out of the way.
Yeah, or they can run into the way of something else you want to charge, and they can run up and get right in your face. And if you wanted to like multi-charge them plus something else, they can be like, oh well, now you can't go around me, or they can funnel you in certain positions. They're wildly obnoxious when you're trying to charge the Adbeck player. You do get to re-declare your charge after that, but it's still the fact that there's this unpredictable mobile wall that you have to account for.
Yeah. That they are running interference.
Yeah.
I can see that could be a big problem for Chaos players.
Yeah, well, it's a problem for anybody. Yeah, really. It's like I play Ad Mech, or not Ad Mech, I play Blood Angels, and I want to charge people all the time.
Right, yeah.
And man, it changes the math when you had to be like, well, what if this army goes over here, like they get this way,
if that
or whatever.
happens, then this,
yeah, it's like, what do I do in that point? How do I got to set up my turn in a way to get to the thing I want and not let the ponies be a problem. So pony power is real, let me tell you. Pony power is real. All right, so the Dreads right now are shooting into the uppermost Stratoraptor. So on this side we have Custodes.
Yeah.
So we have
a second set of Custodes.
Now this one's very different. Yeah. This is the Dreadnought Heavy version. So these guys, and we are getting updates from our table. The Dreads right now are ignoring cover. So they are just canceling out the Shroud Psalm that this Ad Mech player chose to use at the beginning of the turn. So we have 2 Telemon Dreadnoughts. Both of them have this Storm Cannon and a Fist. We have a Sword and Shield Dreadnought. It's all melee all the time.
Okay.
Then we have 5 of the, I think it's 5, maybe I have 6. We have a unit of bikes. Wrong thing. Wrong screen, my bad. I got too many tabs. We got...
Was that Pornhub open?
No, it's not. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's a 5-man unit of the bike unit.
Right.
And then we have the bike captain as well. And then
which seems to be an ongoing thing with Custodes.
Bike captain is just good.
Yeah.
And the problem right now, like the bikes for Custodes aren't as durable as some other things, but we've seen it in our last round. You got to be able to move around and play the mission.
Yes.
And the bikes can do that. And then I believe right here we have the captain commander himself, Mr. Trajan Valoris, holding down the fort, giving the rerolls to 1s to hit and wound to those 2 Dreadnoughts right in front of him. And then we have 3 Palace Grab Tanks. They don't do a lot. They're okay. Yeah. But the main thing is by Custode standards, they're crazy cheap. They're only 95 points a model.
Yeah, so you can fill in your army list with that.
Well, you fill them in, and then you also now have this mobile element that can run out and touch things.
Right.
Which in this specific mission is going to matter. This mission, you hold an objective if you are the last person to touch it. You don't have to stay there. You can touch it and run away. And
as long as nobody else
no one else has touched it, you still hold it. Yeah. So the palaces are going to be great for that, and that's why we saw one fly up to the top. Run up here, tag this objective, next turn he can leave, go get something else if he wants to.
Right.
And they'll hold that indefinitely until the Skitarii player sends somebody over.
That's a nasty bit of business right there.
Yeah. So, let's get back over here. Stratoraptor's already down to 2 wounds from the Dreadnoughts. The grav tank on the bunker, the one sitting on top of the bunker in the bottom middle, is now shooting into the same Stratoraptor, trying to blow up this one that's it's the bottom of the 3 on your screen. It's the in the middle of the table, that flyer. And he got it. We have taken out the first Stratoraptor.
There you go.
All right.
It's our first casualty of the game.
This is absolutely what Luke needed. I'm sure that he wanted to go first in this match.
Yeah.
If he let those, we saw last game, if you let the person with the crazy flyer mobility be able to kind of dictate what quarters of the table you're going to get to survive in, it becomes problematic.
Yeah.
So the Custo player getting to kind of assert themselves a little bit early is definitely going to make their life easier. I'm definitely not going to say it makes his life easy.
No.
Because I don't think anything in this game is going to be easy.
Yeah, no. Easier. So there's no Castellan robots on the Skitarii side?
No. So everything, for that being the Army Renown, every single model has to have the Skitarii keyboard.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because I guess Skitarii are pilots, the planes have the Scutari.
Right, yeah, there you
and
go.
there's a Scutari driving them around.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I just thought it was really interesting that most of the armies that I had seen in previous years had the robots.
Yeah. So there was
Had robots and destroyers.
Yeah, when they came out, the Castellan robots were absolutely like the best thing you could do.
Yeah.
So there was like 150 shots or whatever that they could do, and just you put them in the middle of the table to shoot everything. As 8th edition went on, we started to see the breachers, the destroyers and breachers.
Yeah.
That became a big thing because of that durability. And then we started to see by the end of 8th edition, people were playing like 6 planes because the mobility was so good with being able to play secondaries for Ad Mech while also putting out that obnoxious firepower.
Yeah.
That the planes got really, really good. The Scutari themselves were not great until the new book came out, and it has really elevated. They've really pushed. We want you to play these individual models, these little infantry guys. We want them to be good. So we've seen a huge swing over to playing just the regular dudes because they've become incredibly efficient at what they do.
Gotcha.
So yeah, the Custodes are blue. They're playing them as Shadow Keepers. I think Shadow Keepers are technically black in canon. They are blue on the table.
Just so it shows up for you guys.
You know how it is. Like my wife and I are doing the same thing with the Sisters Army right now. It's like we're intentionally not painting things as the
Red and black?
prescribed color scheme, so that we can say that whatever chapter we want.
Yeah.
Like if you, I had the problem with my Blood Angels. I paint everything red, and I'm like, you know what I want to do today? I want to play them as Ultramarines. And the other opponent's like, but they're red. I'm not going to remember that they're red. So now you just don't ever paint stuff the way it's supposed to, and you can do whatever you want.
Right. Yeah. There you go. There's a pro tip for you, kids.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
Custom color schemes.
Yeah. Yeah. I know when I created a chapter with my own headcanon, and my friends had dumped they were building there when the Primaris first came out in 8th edition, and they were building their armies, and they were getting rid of it, like everybody was tossing their decals, so I had a stack of decals left over from the starter boxes, and I was like, and I read the book, and in the second paragraph it says there's 100 chapters, make one your own.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, so I said, I have all these decals for Ultramarines, it comes with everything. So I said, well, what if I make mine the Omega Guardians by turning the symbol upside down? So I have an endless supply of decals, and then I painted them orange because that's the opposite on the color wheel from blue, and there you go.
Yeah.
So then my headcanon is that their planet they were on were cut off from the warp. They defeated the enemy on that planet. When the warp receded, they thought that everybody was gone, and so when Gilliman showed up to replenish them, they just expanded their chapter into the Omega Guardians because they were the last guardians of this planet.
Yeah. Well, and it's so great too with Space Marines because they have that built-in, like, the successor chapters things. It's like you can literally do anything you want. It'll make complete sense.
Anything you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raiders Tactical Oblique.
Raiders use Tactical Oblique. Okay. I don't exactly remember what that is. I'm going to double check. The joys of the internet.
It's impossible to hold all of the different variables in your head. I mean, you have to have an outside resource, and then they change, because you'll remember one in the rule book, and then an errata will come out, or a chapter proof will come out.
I'm pretty good at remembering. I'm going to do this easy way. One moment.
So
I'm pretty good at remembering all my army stuff, but it's impossible to.
No, every army.
Every army, yeah.
Yeah, so if you get a chance, you can always, customize your army. If you have a favorite color, you can theme that army.
It's the pony strategy I was telling you about.
Yeah.
The ponies. The Dreadnought tried to charge the ponies, and you can see on the table the ponies are like, nope,
we're moving away.
They ran away.
Bye bye.
Yeah. What? I don't have any.
Blue?
Yeah. No. People dropping their stuff at the end of the tournament.
There's a vendor that has some. Buy it. Okay.
Check with Kramer.
Somebody has one in their army.
Kramer gave some to Amatucci yesterday.
And Amatucci gave it to Dave, and Dave gave it to Jeff, and now we don't know where it's at.
All right, so now the ponies are back. They ran away. Now they're coming back. This is the obnoxious power.
That is incredibly obnoxious.
Yeah, it's incredibly obnoxious. And it's only a 3-man. It's not even the 7-man pony in it that can make a giant line of things.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's incredibly obnoxious. It's not, they don't kill anything, but man,
they can be
fuck
annoying.
those ponies.
Yeah. So it's mainly a blocking strategy.
Yeah. You can use it to move block things. You can use it to you can use them to move block closer so that something like we saw last round where we were talking about there was the part where the 3 bikes wanted to maybe charge onto an objective.
Yeah.
Well, if I get closer to you, you're going to guarantee your charge, but you're not going to get to that thing behind me that you're trying to get to.
Right.
So I can keep you from getting there. If you want to maybe charge this other unit, I can move in such a way that yes, you're still going to charge me, but now you have no way to position. You can attack the thing behind me.
Can you get the lead jet bike up and then do the conga line to get into a tight space? But then the ponies will then
if you can surround them, then they can't go anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. But they've already served their purpose in that they.
They tied you up for a round.
It's not like Luke didn't know that could do that. So that could be Luke just being like, I don't really need to kill these ponies, so I'm going to charge them, and now you have the waste of CP.
Right.
So that I'm just draining some of your resources early, doing things that I know aren't going to matter right now, but they could matter later.
Which is a viable strategy.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
What is he doing?
Hydra, I guess. Yeah. Thanks for Battlescribe, and thank you. You want to say thanks for Battlescribe? Thank you for the subscription, sir. We greatly appreciate your support. Every time you guys like, subscribe, follow, either on here or on YouTube, it helps us get our content out there to the larger masses of 40K nerds, so that we can all hang out and talk about Midwest 40K together. So thank you for your support.
Nerd out together.
Yeah. All right. So it looks like I'm pretty confident this is the big unit of Rust Stalkers. That's the melee unit we're talking about.
Yes.
The big swords for hand boys. The Edward Scissorhands. The Edward Scissorhands of the Ad Mech army.
I wonder if he got his glue. Hopefully he got your glue.
Now, the thing is, like, they don't seem like, they're little skinny robots, right? With little swords for hands.
Yeah.
They're like, they probably have a bunch of attacks, but whatever.
But the blades are 1 molecule thick and can slice through anything.
Yeah, and they each get like 6 attacks or something stupid, and they just, you throw 50 dice at a Dreadnought, you're going to kill a Dreadnought.
Oh, yeah.
That's just how it is.
And, which we learned last round.
last round. Yeah, there's a certain number of dice that a Dreadnought cannot withstand.
Yeah.
Eric, this is a 5-round event. This is our final round. So what happened is we had enough players that we would need 6 or 7 rounds to get one final undefeated. So these players are all going to not just try to win their game. They're all trying to score as many points as possible.
Maximizing their points.
Yeah, because this is the last round, and the podium is going to be determined based on who got the most points this weekend.
And realize this is the second Cutodes armies we've seen in a row.
Yeah, if you were not here last round, please go. It'll probably be, you can either watch it right now on Twitch if you subscribed, or you can wait till tomorrow and it'll be on our YouTube channel, which I can do ! Socials in the chat, and you can see our YouTube channel. And tomorrow, it'll go like at midnight tonight. But our round 4 match, which also feature Custodes versus Orcs, will be uploaded to YouTube tomorrow as well.
There you go. So
all the games from this weekend.
Yeah,
will be
yeah.
uploaded.
So you have multiple opportunities to watch it and really learn something and see how people at the top of their game have implemented those strategies across these different scenarios.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, very surprised to see 2 Custodes undefeated on day 2. That's not a very common army that we see.
I haven't heard of it in years.
Yeah. Like Custodes are no joke. You can't underestimate them, as we talked about last round. But they're definitely not like as popular right now as Adbeck or Drukari or anything like that.
Right. And again, you can overcome their super toughness with just volumes, buckets as we say, of dice.
So the Rust Stalkers were given the aggressor imperative via the warlord trait, the cohort warlord trait, and then they use the advancing charge strat for free because of the Cantic Thrall net. So that's how those Rust Stalkers were able to yeet themselves out from behind the building.
Right.
They have advancing charge for 0 CP.
So that was a lot of movement.
Yeah.
That was a lot of movement.
Anytime you can get extra stuff for 0 CP, you should do it.
Take advantage of it. Work it into your strategy.
Yeah. 0 CP, surprisingly, better than 1 CP.
You don't say.
I am a math teacher.
I've heard rumors.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors that 1 is better than 0.
This is why they pay me the big teacher money, to help people understand that if you could pay 0, you should.
Another thing, teachers are woefully underpaid. So just going to put that out there. And they should not have to buy their own school supplies.
I luckily don't have to do that. My school is great, and
Yeah.
they're very supportive.
We need more money for people to buy miniatures.
My school also is supportive enough that they let me use my sick days to go play 40K on a Friday.
There you
so,
go.
you know, I can't ask for a lot more than that. That's about as good as it gets teacher-wise, I guess.
Yeah. Because I think that 40K strategy should be taught as an elective.
I've wanted to do 40K clubs before. I know GW actually has a program where they will send little kits for kids to get into. You can do like a 40K club and get like free, like learn to paint stuff.
Right.
Which if you are out there and you are in school or a teacher, you should definitely look into that. Because that's a great program.
Especially because I know in a lot of schools they cut the art programs. First thing cut is the art and music.
Sometimes, yeah. All right, so right now the Raiders, which are going to be the Cerberus Raiders, are shooting into the grav tank that's in the forest.
Oh, we got a dice leave the board.
So we're trying that Palace grav tank up in the top left.
How many times can you re-roll that one dice?
Well, if it was cocked or something, I guess they could have. I don't know. It also could have been a wound and a damage roll. Could have been a wound, re-roll a wound, damage roll or something.
Gotcha. Because we can't hear it from where we're sitting at, but we can see it.
We have our table reporter. That's it.
Yeah.
Now the last cannon is shooting the grav tank. Looks like that may have bounced as well. All right, both last check-ins whiffed, or last cannons.
Wait, I misspelled it. Both of the last chickens whiffed, and both of them have 2 last cannons. So we had 4 complete either misses and or failures to wound, that's not what they wanted. That's not what the last chickens are there for.
That is not good.
No, that's not how you want to start. Not how you want to start the game.
I'm pretty sure he's depending on.
Although I guess if you're Luke, it is exactly how you want to start the game.
Yeah.
If you're the Custodes player.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're playing those chickens for.
Mike was not counting on that. I guarantee you he was counting on them doing some damage.
Yeah.
Because anytime you fire, even if you miss half, you hit half, right? But if you miss everything, that's almost as if they weren't even there.
Yeah. It looks like we just used 2 CP. We're getting a word from our table spotter what that 2 CP was on Michael's side. Wrath of Mars. Here comes the pain, everybody. So Wrath of Mars, for those of you who haven't had to deal with this before, let me pull my mouse over here. I'll read it exactly right to make sure I don't screw this up.
That all your miniatures immediately become painted red. Oh no, that's not it.
I'm on the wrong screen. That's what happened.
There you go.
I was on the mission screen. Wrath of Mars.
Electromancer's Wraith.
Where'd it go? So, Wrath of Mars. Use a stratagem in the shooting phase when a Mars unit is selected to shoot. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, a 6 to wound does 1 mortal wound in addition to its normal damage.
Ouch!
So these guys are going to be putting out, there's 15 of them. They can shoot 3 times each, so 45 shots. You just need to roll 3 sixes. Or 6.
And out of 45,
6.
chances are you're going to get 3 sixes.
You can get up to 6. I'm sorry. So
max out at 6.
Yeah, so we're probably hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s if we did all our buffs. So we're just looking for 6s to wound.
Yeah,
you don't need the last cannon to hit if we get 6 mortals.
Yeah, 6 mortal wounds, no saves.
Because then you still get the rest of your damage. Some amount we're going to go through. All right. Now,
and that is called
in retaliation, the Custodes player is using the Shadowkeeper strat to make all of those guns have 1 less strength. Now, that matters here because now the only thing that's going to wound him is the 6s. We just rolling a bunch of dice, like we saw with the orcs, trying to get a bunch of like just random 4s or 5s or whatever, not going to work. You're now strength 3 into my toughness 6 vehicle. You just need to roll 6s.
This becomes a game of the 6s at that point.
Yeah. Now he'll get to save. He'll take whatever 6s are. They can do 2 damage each. Automatically does half of the mortals, and he'll get to save against the other 6s. But we don't have to worry about all those 5s anymore. We'll see if it's enough. As we said, it's a lot of shots and get a lot of mortals.
So what am I looking at? Am I looking at 1 hit?
Those could have been this. Oh no, maybe he only has X number of dice. He's doing them in batches.
Gotcha. Okay, he's doing
that would make sense. I don't like to hold 30 dice in my hand either, if I can help it.
Okay, I can see a couple of 6s.
Four mortal wounds total, it looks like. So 4 6s. We'll see, does he take any other damage from the normal side, the normal damage of the shots?
So he failed one of those 4 saves. So he took 4 mortal wounds, rolled 4 saves, failed 1. Took 5 damage total. Not enough to kill it.
No. That's not going to remove him from the board this turn.
Now I do like how, I do like how it looks like over here. We see Michael's been a little conservative with his planes. He's just keeping them over here on his side.
On the edge, yeah.
Because we know from last game, the Orc player had to really prioritize going after his Virtus Raiders because they will absolutely just knock those planes out of the sky and they get to go near them. So he doesn't want to bring the planes in the middle and try to get any shots out, be ignoring a lot, move block or anything, because those bikes
are ready to
fly. They have fly. They're going to hop up there and they're going to poke little holes in those wings with their spears, and they're going to crash to the ground.
And down goes Frasier.
All right, so it looks like we have the other 15-man unit of Scutari that's ready to shoot.
I like the decals on the wings.
Yeah, this Ad Mech army looks very, very nice. This, again, we've said it before. One of my favorite things about coming to an event like this, everyone's armies look nice.
Yeah.
There's no one here that was in the room just spray painting stuff the night before and getting your minimum 3 colors and the old stories of people tapping the base with 3 different paintbrushes or whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
Everyone's here to have beautiful armies.
Yeah. Technically correct, but not the spirit of the rule.
Yeah. And for an event if you're going to play in a 1-day 3-round tournament, you don't have to have painted stuff. Fine, whatever. Just go play. But if an event like this where you're paying to spend the whole weekend playing 40K,
yeah,
it's so different to play 40K when both people have nice painted armies.
Yeah.
I'm not a painter, so I don't have a lot of painted stuff. When I get to have a fully painted army and play it on the table, it just feels different.
Right.
And getting to play against someone else who has a beautiful army, the game is complete. It just has a
Added
different
immersion,
vibe. It has a different vibe.
immersion.
Yeah.
It's appealing to the eye.
Yeah.
I think that one of the niceties that you could do for your opponent is to have a painted army for them to look at while you're removing his models from the table.
Yeah. That's where it gets defensive for me. It's I spent a year painting this one chaplain. Please don't kill him.
Look, the Redemptive Dreadnought just came out.
Yeah.
I bought it immediately, put it together, spent the whole night painting it to put it on the table for the game the next day. I bought it on a Friday, built it, painted it on a Friday, brought it on the game on a Saturday. The guy said, I don't know what that is. So he alpha struck it. And he goes, well, what does it do? I'm like, I don't know. I've never played it. You just killed it. So that's a true story.
So the Rangers, I'm pretty sure I've been that guy. I put stuff on the table. I don't know what that does, but it looks big, so I'm going to shoot it.
Yeah, exactly.
So right now the Rangers are shooting into the palace on the bunker, on the bottom middle. So that's the other 15 Rangers. Now these don't get Wrath of Mars. Obviously, you can only do that once.
Once per game, not round. Once per game.
I think this one's once per. I think Wrath of Mars is once every round.
Once every round you do Wrath of Mars?
There's only a few once per game stratagems.
Okay.
Yeah. Adbeck do have some. They have one that's an extra. There's the core rulebook stratagem to pass morale.
Yes.
And you can only use that once a game.
Once a game.
Adbeck has an additional once a game auto pass morale stratagem. So they can do it twice.
Yeah,
because they're robots, they don't follow the rules.
Oh, I like what is it? The one where you can switch their programming?
I'm not very familiar with Adbeck. I don't play it.
Yeah.
I know they have ways to flip switches on certain things to change it from one to another.
Yeah.
I don't know their stratagems or warlord traits or relics to do that.
Again, I've skimmed through a lot of the books and it becomes soup after a while.
Yeah, I've played against Adbeck and I just usually die so fast I don't get a chance to learn what they do. So. Yeah.
Oh, what about is the Vanguard have the radiant guns where you shoot and if you do a wound, it keeps doing damage from the radiation?
I'm not sure. If that is a current rule, it's not one that's being employed a lot.
Yeah. If anybody knows about that rule, hit us up in chat. If you're an Adbeck player.
I know the Adbeck have a rule, or they did at one point, kind of like a Necron rule, where in melee they would make you -1 strength because they had radiation.
Right.
And so if they engage you, you just get weaker, which was always I thought was interesting. Necrons, I've toyed around with that with Necrons before. It's all my melee stuff just makes you less good.
Yeah, because they're living metals, so I mean it makes sense if you come from a highly irradiated world that you would radiate.
All right, so it does not look like they killed it. We did do some damage to that Palace Grav tank on the bottom, but we definitely didn't kill it. It was not likely to kill it with just shooting it anyway. Not in one round, at least.
But he's making a valiant attempt at it.
Yeah. I mean, so both players are being a little cagey here. Again, the Ad Mech player has a lot of melee units, so he wants to kind of countercharge what the Cutodes player is going to do. Cutodes player doesn't want to get close enough that all the Ad Mech can do all the crazy shooting. So we're going to see a little bit of a dance.
Back and forth, yeah. Do you think that the Custodes players last game were a little bit too aggressive? You think he should have been a little bit more cautious?
I'm not going to question what he did because he's like one of the best Custodes players in America, and I don't play Custodes. And he was playing against like one of the best lists right now.
Right.
So like I don't know if there's a good answer to that.
Because it could have been no matter which way he went, it was going to come out that way.
I mean, he held his opponent to like a 60 something, which is a pretty low score to win a game.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like he made it as close as maybe he could have.
Right.
Maybe if he had gone first, maybe we would have seen something different.
Yeah. Which is always an issue.
Yeah. All right. So now the Raiders are trying to shoot the Telemon, and the Pistol Raider is going to shoot the Shield Dread. So we're trying to get some damage on various things. None of this Custodes was super likely to die in one turn. It just wasn't. So we'll see. He wants to get damage while he can.
Yeah,
he's going to have to add it up over time.
Yeah, because the wound counters are going down.
Yeah. So spreading it out to make it easier to kill later, and that's kind of like Custodes' bread and butter anyway. Is that they want to like just barely squeak into the end game, where then like now they're up in your face and they're like,
yeah, they can really bring the pain.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what this Virtus Praetors do because they're going to hurt something next turn. Those bikes are going to come out and beat the tar out of somebody. I'm imagining it's going to be those rest
somebody's limping home?
Somebody. And the thing is, like, they're going to charge these rest stalkers, or the rest stalkers are going to charge this Dreadnought, I imagine, on the objective. And we could have the Custodes heroically intervene into them based on where things end up positioned. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. All right. The Alaris took 2 wins from Stratoraptor. I didn't know we had an Alaris in this list. I don't remember reading that. Let me double check.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see an Alaris either. Petra. There is not an Alaris Terminator on this list. There's no Terminators in this list at all. The Dreadnought? Okay. Okay. I was like, there's definitely no Terminators. I was very confused.
There's too many Dreadnoughts and Custodes here to keep track of.
Okay, that makes more sense. So we're still working on that Shield and Sword Dreadnought. All right, so now we're firing off this. Okay, so the Stratoraptor did finish off the Palace Grav Tank. So the 15 Rangers that shot the Grav Tank that was in the bottom middle, they did enough damage that the plane was able to finish it off with its las cannons and its bolter shots. Again, not surprising once the plane brings the full weight into it.
Yeah, well, you're hoping that the first volley of fire will take him out, but if not, you have a follow-up with the plane.
I would imagine Luke would have been thrilled if he could have just gotten it to survive the first plane so that the second plane also had to shoot it.
Right.
And then it can't shoot anything else. Unfortunately, it looks like the first plane did it by itself. But we see why he went after those planes. They very quickly just start mowing things down.
That was no joke. And again, air power, you can sleep on that if you want, but you're going to pay a price for it.
Yeah. Airplanes are a very controversial topic in 40K. They've never been something that everyone was happy to have. Like, there's people who, I know even when they came out, there's people who just didn't think they belonged in the game.
In the game, yeah.
And
if it was more of a ground game.
Yeah. And now, like, they look cool for sure, and they do cool stuff, but they're just so hard to balance, you know? Like, we've got it right now, it's like they're all super killy, but they can't hold objectives.
Right.
Well, if you table the other person, it doesn't matter if you can hold objectives.
No.
So not everyone loves it. They're not everyone's cup of tea. I would probably be glad to play a plane if I had any good ones in any of my armies.
But obviously. Well, wait till they bring in the naval units.
Yeah. I still, look, my favorite thing with Blood Angels was back in, I think it was 5th edition, where Blood Angels could deep strike a Land Raider because you would have a Thunderhawk fly down and drop it. Yeah. And that was just like the best thing ever. I wish they did more with the transport, just like acknowledging the orbital ships in the game. Like we got orbital
How did you
bombardment.
get to this planet, right? Yeah.
We got orbital bombardment as a strat, and we got like back then we had the stuff like, oh, the Thunderhawk's going to show up.
Yeah.
But like
besides just drop pods.
Yeah.
All right, so the Rust Stalkers are charging first. They had to re-roll their charge. So that's another CP gone that he was not expecting to use. Because you can't, at that point, you have to commit to it. You've already spent the strat to advance the charge.
Yeah.
You're like, well, now I need to actually make my
see it
charge.
through. You gotta see it through, yeah.
And it looks like we're trying, we'll see how far he comes around. He wants to be careful to not get within 6 inches of that bike captain. And I'm not sure if the top one that we see is the bike captain, or the bike captain could be down in the middle of the screen. Yeah, stooping dive would be great, but I'm not sure which one's the bike captain, so we'll see. Stooping dive would be bonkers here.
I mean, how many miles do you want the Custodes to lose?
Oh, any bike can do it, Eric. I thought it was only the characters could do stooping dive. Okay. So that means the whole unit could stooping dive.
Zoom.
Okay. So for those of you who don't play Custodes or have never played against it, stooping dive is a counter charge strat that the bike units have. If you end their charge within basically, like, I think it's 12 inches of them, they just get to make a charge roll. And if they make a charge roll, they get to charge you after you charge something else, and they get to fight before you.
Or they get to fight first?
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Yeah. So we'll see if that comes up here. I'm going to bet if you're playing the bikes, you know that they can do that. So I'm sure Luke is aware of it. That doesn't mean he wants to do it.
No, but I think that's why bikes are in every list, too.
That's why I think they should be.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen people who are like, nah, just play the guys with swords and shields and be durable. It's like, no, I want to fly around the table and do stuff. I want to have cool strats.
And what is the transport unit for Custodes?
So they have a Land Raider. There's a Custodes Land Raider.
The gold one, right? Yeah.
But they don't, I've never seen anybody play it.
Well, the bikes make it redundant. If you could get the bikes on the objective.
Well, they also have the from Golden Light They Come strat.
Yeah, which
so everything can teleport. So you don't need the stuff you really want to transport. Like you can just pay a CP instead of spending points in your list. And Custodes cost so much that rarely do you see people who have that many extra points to throw away on something.
Right. You have to really tailor it.
All right, it does not look like right now that our Custodes player has chosen to do stooping dive. So he's decided he's going to hold that back.
I'm looking at pockets of dice being scattered.
Yeah, I told you, these Edward Scissorhands, they each have like 5 attacks. So we're going to get at least 40 dice here.
You got about 20 minutes of dice set up.
Yeah. Yeah, Eric, I agree. This looked like a good place to do it, for sure. I don't play Custodes, so I'm not going to claim to be an expert on it.
Right.
But I agree. If I were a casual Custodes player and my opponent put their melee unit that close, I would be trying to stooping dive. Because I would just be going for that big flashy meme play. I always do it for the memes. I do it for the flashiness. We're gonna pull up stooping dive. Make sure we're crazy. All right. Yeah, it's within 12 inches, and those bikes are absolutely within 12 inches for sure.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Yeah. So we'll have to, maybe we're going to ask Luke at some point why he chose not to stooping dive.
Think you just brain farted on that one?
Perhaps, maybe he thinks that he wouldn't have killed all of them anyway, and he didn't want to give up free attacks onto the bikes.
Yeah, that's
it's very possible.
Yeah, that's possible.
Because the spears do D3 damage, but those Rust Stalkers are all 3 wounds. So I don't know. I mean, Custodes don't have a ton of attacks. They just have really good, efficient ones. So it's possible you would not kill all 8 or 9 of them for sure. Yeah, he also may think he needs a CP for defense. That was my other thought, Eric. You're absolutely right. That he may be trying to do some CP...
conservation?
Yeah, conservation. That he has a plan. Is like, I need to win this game. I need to be durable for 3 turns.
Right.
And that involves me using strats for the first 3 turns.
Right.
And so I just can't afford
to burn them all.
To try to kill a unit, even if that unit is a good one to kill.
Yeah, it's a troublemaker.
Yeah. The thing that I'm wondering about is, like, if you had stooping dive here, you come up here, let's say you do kill them.
Yeah.
You get a 3-inch consolidate here, you can zip over here, and then you could go crack into the back where this is where we know we're doing the data intercept.
Get into the backfield.
Yeah, start wrecking all those little small units and those characters. I don't know the math on how well the Custodes kill 15 buffed Vanguard, because these little dudes are super durable, because of all the buffs that an Ad Mech player can put on them.
Right.
So they don't die quickly, and it's very possible that even if the bikes went over there, they wouldn't kill them all. So that may not even be worth trying to set that play up.
Right. But we know he has to move them at some point.
Yeah, I don't think there's much chance that the bikes stay where they are next turn.
No, I don't think so either.
All right, so we use another strat on the Rustalkers to give them even more attacks. So that's why there's so many dice. We're just pumping these attacks into here.
Ouch.
Now they are all 1 damage, but as we talked about last round,
Volume.
doesn't matter if you got volume.
Yeah. Volume.
Especially that much volume for that cheap. That unit's like 130 points. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not. Everything at Adbeck is too cheap. I can go tell you exactly how many points. They're not expensive.
I mean, pound for pound for the amount of damage they're putting out.
I'm sorry. That unit is either, depending on which, if there's 7 or 8 or 9 guys in it. I'm sorry. The 8-man unit is 136. The 9-man unit is 153. So depending on which unit that is, it may be slightly more than 130. Okay, so what we see here, the 1 million attacks killed the Dreadnought as we expected.
Yeah.
And now he's getting used, and we talked about last round, that pile in and consolidate to
Right.
get the extra movement over, touch the.
So he counter-lined them over.
Yeah. So
Then he consolidated.
he consolidated into it, and then what's happening? He now has 2 models on that objective that the grav tank's on. The grav tank, because it's not an infantry model or a biker, does not have OBSEC. So now the Ad Mech player controls that before Luke would be able to score his primary at the beginning of the turn.
Because you won't be able to remove them before that.
So Eric says bikes would be like 20 attacks, hitting and wounding on 2s, D3. Against, I thought the Secondaries and Rustalkers were 3 wounds. If they're 2 wounds, that makes more sense to do. So I would agree that would be pretty good. Especially if Luke was worried about the Rustalkers taking this objective, it again would even further incentivize him to use the stooping dive there. So we'll have to ask why he chose not to maybe after the end of the game. If he just wasn't worried about holding an objective this turn, or holding that objective this turn.
Yeah, I'm curious to what his thinking was on that.
Yeah. Again, it may be he knows he needs to be relatively conservative with his units. Because look, right now he's now cracking over into the heart of the Ad Mech army.
No.
And so maybe that was his plan. Is like, I just need to make sure that I cohesively move my army across the board together, and I don't want to like accidentally put something in the wrong position or get stuck in combat. Again, it could have literally been a fear something weird happens with dice.
Yeah.
And now I'm engaged in combat and I can't move, I can't shoot, I can't charge. I don't want to do that.
Okay, the bikes are moving.
Yeah. I think it could literally be that, is that he wanted to have complete control of where they could go right now and not risk them not being able to do something because of a die roll.
Right. Because if you want it, you should guarantee it versus depending on,
Especially if all his plan was, if his plan was literally, I want this unit to just kill the Rustalkers and these 3 ponies, and I can only kill both if I'm not in combat.
Right.
So I can shoot. Then it makes perfect sense to just wait just half a second and do both. All right, so I believe, I'm going to guess this one right here is the captain. And then this is the unit.
Is that a
5.
shield?
There's a shield captain on bike.
Shield captain on bike.
So I'm going to guess this is the captain and the other ones are the bike. We can ask Petra. Let's see. And we're having some good sportsmanship here. There's a unit of Rustalkers back here in the ruin that Michael meant to raise banners with, and he forgot, and Luke is letting him raise banners, so we appreciate that good sportsmanship
good
there.
sportsmanship. Give that man a gold star.
Yeah, Nick, I just can't tell from my camera angle which one has the cape. So I'm not sure. Oh, wait, no, this one has a cape. I see it. That one has a cape right there. So this one on the end is a shield captain. Okay. So that shield captain might be about to charge some ponies if he needs to.
Yeah.
Again, we know that the ponies can maybe run away.
They'll run away.
But, Mike's down to 2 CP. Does he want to spend a CP to run the ponies away? Especially if Mike can.
Or is he doing a pincer movement?
Try to squeeze it on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he could be trying to do a thing where these dreadnoughts here are really limiting where these could go if they run away.
Right.
So
they're going to run into the dreadnoughts.
Yeah. So they come back up towards the building. Well, these guys can still easily get there when they get to redeclare their charge. So we'll see what happens there. All right. So we're taking the +1 ballistic skill Doctrina and -1 to hit in melee. Interesting. He sees that the big melee pain is coming, So he's going to go ahead and do his Ad Mech Canticle to get -1 to hit in melee. I'm sorry. I believe that it's +1 to hit in ballistic skill, and he's giving up 1 to hit in melee. And then the Rust Stalkers are giving the +1 weapon skill Canticle. So it's kind of offsetting. All right, so Telemon is shooting the Stratoraptor. And we saw they were able to punk a Stratoraptor last turn, so maybe they can take a second one out now. These Dreadnoughts are really good at killing ponies because their fist does 4 damage. And a pony,
close combat.
In close combat, and a pony only has 3 wounds. So those numbers, in case you want another math lesson, 4 bigger than 3.
I've heard rumors.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors.
All right, so Telemon is into the wounded Stratoraptor, and now the Flamer on the Telemon is going into a small Raider squad by the bikes. So we are now flaming these 3 ponies here.
Oh, and
Oh my God, Stratoraptor exploded, and there's a whole bunch of stuff around it.
so there's shrapnel, right?
So he is doing mortal wounds now to the other plane.
Oh, with the closest?
Is whatever's within 6 inches.
Yeah, there you go.
So he have, the ponies only have 2 wounds, Eric. I thought they had 3. Maybe I'm remembering from an older edition or something. I really thought they had 3 wounds.
But that would be less than 3, would be 2.
Yes, 2 is less than 3.
Well, you're the math genius.
But all that matters here is that 4 is still greater than 2. Right. That's what matters in this equation. So that first plane blew up, did some mortals, some extra damage to the other plane, and then also took out a couple extra of the Skitari Vanguard right there, or Skitari Rangers right there. So they did used to have 3 wounds. I'm not completely insane. All right.
Right.
See, here's the problem. If you tell me that Adbeck has some really high number of something, I'm just going to believe you. If you told me that the ponies had 5 wounds, I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, they're Adbeck, sure.
Of course.
All right, so we're putting more shots into the 3-man pony unit. And I really like the way Luke is approaching this game. He is methodically moving across the table, trying to say, I'm just not going to let you hold this line of the objectives. I'm going to push you back. I want to be standing on this. And if you want to come over here, you've got to be close.
Yeah, you got to engage, yeah.
And maybe he can survive, maybe he can't. We'll see. But I just like the way he's dictating the terms of engagement. If he tried to just sit I've done this against Adbeck before. Just try to sit in the back and hide and just don't let them shoot you and don't really play the mission very much, you're still going to die and you're not going to score any points.
And you're not going to score any points.
So at least this way, no matter what happens, we're actively playing the game.
Because I was looking at with the flamer, you just rolling the wound. You're not rolling for
General number of shots.
Yeah.
Is a D6 number. I think on the Dreadnought is 2D3. I think they have a 2D3 flamer.
And then you're rolling the wound.
You automatically, or you're rolling wounds. You automatically hit.
Right.
Yeah. They may have 2 flamers each. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure they have a 2D3 flamer.
That would be ill if they had 2 flamers.
They may. Some things, flamers on both hands.
Flamers on flamers. For my flamer.
Let's look at Telemon.
Beam
Spiculous
burst.
bolt launcher. No, wait, it was the twin plasma projector. No, it's one. So it's on the fist.
Okay.
So you can have one for each fist you put on an arm, and he's got 1 gun, 1 fist. So he's got 1 flamer.
1 flamer.
Yeah. Sorry, we're looking up the rules as we go, since these are not our personal armies. we have the internet right here. We're just like typing as fast as we can.
And a lot has changed since 8th edition.
Yeah. Now look, if this was Blood Angels versus Necrons, I could give you some very in-depth analysis, let me tell you.
But if you guys hear anything that we're missing, please put it in the chat.
Yeah, for sure. Or if there's a strat we're not thinking about that would make a strategy make sense when someone's doing something that we think's weird. That's happened before. There's been there's a stream game we had. I think it's like I think it was Grey Knights versus Demons, and I just forgot that Grey Knights have like a anti-demon strat where it's like you get like +1 on all your stats or something if you're fighting a demon in melee.
Because they're designed to fight demons.
Yeah.
In a demon-haunted world, Grey Knights are king.
This is all Grey Knights, not current Grey Knights. This is like 8th edition Grey Knights.
8th edition Grey Knights.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea what's in the Grey Knight book right now.
Do you think they're going to come out with new models for regular Grey Knights? Are they going to do the Primaris treatment on them?
I mean, they had the few things that were in the box. They had like new Castellan Crow. I don't imagine
character.
Yeah, I don't imagine they're going to be
Baseline.
making a lot of new units. Although they just made a bunch of new units for Black Templars apparently, so I don't know.
Plastic Deathcore Krieg, never thought I'd see.
Yeah, that's true. I genuinely hope, we talked a little bit about my Ad Mech, or my Imperial Guard love. I genuinely hope now that Cadia is blown up, that they make the Deathcore Krieg the primary featured faction of Guard. Because everyone's got like the primary chapter.
Yeah.
Like Tao's got like the yellow one's normally the primary one, and for Guard it was Cadia.
Yeah.
I want Deathcore Krieg to be like, this is the Guard army now. This is the one the stories are about. Because Deathcore Krieg are by far the coolest Guard army.
So in my nerd fever dream, I thought if they came out with a box, take the units from Blackstone Fortress, take all the little specialty units, put them on sprues with the Cadians and some Talaran and all the different helmets and stuff, and let people just kit bash a unit together. Sell multiple boxes of sprues, maybe 5 sprues with different bits and bobs on it, and just put something together.
So what you're saying is we need the Death Watch version of Guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would look cool. There'd be some cool stuff there.
So that was my fever dream, that you would buy a new Guard box and it would just have all these different sprues in it, and then you could just kit bash it together. Oh, because you would have instructions like Chem Dogs, if you do this, if you do that, you do this. But they could do some of the units that they've eliminated from Forge World. You could put Elysian sprue in there, put a Steel Legion sprue in there.
What's the one with like the giant like fuzzy hats with feathers? The nobles, those are always cool. Like I never see anybody play those.
Oh no, the bear hats are the.
I think I'm getting 2 armies mixed up. There's one that's like the Russian fuzzy hats,
right?
And there's another army that has like conquistador hats with feathers.
Feathers, yeah, that's the nobles. The nobles is the feather ones, and then you have. All
right, so the lower Telemon is shooting.
We'll have to wait. Wow. Obviously, we were not meant to speak.
The Telemon is shooting. The lower Telemon is shooting the remaining flyer, trying to take that last mobile gun platform off the table.
And is there a 5? There was a 5 there. Did not see.
We're taking wounds off of it.
Yeah. The counter is going down.
The flamer on this Dreadnought went into the big pony squad, which is there between the 2 ruins in the top right corner.
And my pet peeve is more debris on the table.
At least this time it's a scorecard, which makes sense to have on a table.
Scorecard, yeah.
More sense than a bottle of water.
Yeah. I would remove the measuring stick and the pin, though.
Sure.
The tape measure, I'm sorry, and the pin. Now I realize he needs that big bag of dice for all the shots that he's throwing. I'm not going to hold that against him.
Yeah. So G. Kangi saying Imperial Guard should be spoiled just as much as Space Marine chapters. I'm torn. I agree with you in theory, but the problem is like the premise of Imperial Guard is that the Imperium views them as entirely disposable.
A million worlds.
Yeah.
From a million worlds.
So if you know they're disposable, you're not going to give them your best stuff.
Yeah. And go back and look at the 8th edition Guard book, where it had like 20 or 30 different units from all the different planets, and they were just little thumbnail sketches. But what a great concept for, again, personalizing your army for the region that you're from.
Yeah.
And I think that you can use all kind of third-party stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, if you want to buy a GW product, it would behoove them, since Cadia is gone, that you would start pulling from other worlds and then having those mixtures in, but then allowing people to kit bash what world their unit is from.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I've got a bunch of third-party Talarn stuff on my guys.
Yeah.
But I had to order those from like Denmark or something. It took me like months to get them.
Yeah, I know Victorian Miniatures does a really good line.
The Australian one, right?
Yeah. But you have to get it from Australia.
Yeah.
And I know War Games Atlantic has come out with some near future type of analogs, but it just seems money left on the table to me.
Yeah. People in 40K love to make their stuff look dope.
Yes.
And it would, as you said, it would behove GW to make it easier for people to make their stuff look dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can just print money at that point.
That's all I'm saying.
All right, so this is super interesting to me. We have Mike chose not to Tactical Obliqua the large pony unit because of CP concerns. He's down to 2, and so now we have.
Does it explode when killed?
No, they don't explode.
Okay.
So now we have the bike captain and both Telemons are going to try to kill these ponies.
They are not farmers. They don't love their animals.
So as I predicted, they boxed them in, and now they're going for the kill.
Yep. And then we see the Virtus Praetors have gone over to, and this makes sense to me, why we send the Virtus Praetors to the top left to go try to kill the Rust Stalkers.
Yes.
They have the most mobility. They can come get back in the fight
And
next
get
turn
back,
if they want
yeah,
to.
yeah.
The Dreadnoughts and the Bike Captain, they're a little bit more limited. The Bike Captain, maybe not, but the Dreadnoughts are like, I kind of need to. You see this with Space Marine Dreadnoughts. You want them to
have
go
to
the
deal
table.
with these guys.
Yeah, and so he's got them in a position where, like, to address things I would need to in the future, I need to be closer to the center of the table. I don't want to be over here in the corner, so I want to.
Right.
I want to send these into this unit. So very, very nice setup here.
And there's nothing in this building here. Or that building. Either one of those.
Well, there doesn't have to be, because he touched them last.
Right.
So I don't believe, because this is not Mars. This is veteran, or no, I mean it is Mars, but it's not veteran cohort. I'm sorry, it is veteran cohort, but it is not the chapter of Ad Mech that has the redeploy. I can't remember which chapter that is. There's an Ad Mech chapter that has. I don't think, maybe, I don't remember. There's one that has, like, it's called Solar Flare,
yeah.
and you pick up and you go land somewhere else. That would be a concern to leave your backfield objective if you thought they could do that.
But this is not.
This cannot do that. Yeah. So there's not really any threat of him losing the objective in the back
because he's already
touched it.
Yeah.
And the plane can't hold an objective, so the plane can't fly over there and do it. So relatively safe to walk away from this.
Rerolling.
Lucius can do it. Thank you, Nick.
What is he rerolling? He rerolled wounds.
So this is the captain into these guys, and he's rolling the damage because it's a D3 weapon.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have one pony left, one singular pony. Now he does have, and it looks like he just spent a CP. He's probably using his extra Ad Mech auto pass morale that we talked about.
Yeah, and
so
there's
he can do it twice.
And there's a CP counter.
He's down
right
to one now. Yeah. So that's probably what that was, is because it only works if you're on an objective, and he left the one pony on the objective. So that's probably what that was.
And notice the base is just touching the rim of the objective that's poking out.
Oh, Nick's right. The bikes, because they have the Melta Lance, they get to reroll all wounds.
A wound on a charge.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Nick.
I knew that. I just didn't say that. I try to sound like I know something. We try to sound knowledgeable.
We look at him suspiciously.
I need the people to believe in me.
Okay, Gilliman.
No, this predates 40K. You can ask my wife. I run explicitly on props. I don't need food, oxygen, water, anything. I need congratulations and props.
Right, yeah.
So it's important to me.
Give this man his praise that he is due.
I don't even need to be due it. I just need it anyway.
Yeah. One of my favorite memes is "Boo that man." Boo.
Oh yeah. That's the Futurama one, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we spent one CP. Okay, so that was not an auto pass morale. We may do that later. That was a CP to give the Rust Stalkers extra attacks going into the bike squad.
That is ridiculous amount of dice.
Are they? How do you interrupt? Petra. How did the Rust Stalkers get to interrupt?
They had the Temper Corpia equipped on them. He's already attacked first with all his other charges.
Did the bikes attack the Rust Stalkers?
The bikes have not attacked yet, but they were the selected target for the Temper Corpia.
Oh, so it just says I can fight before that unit?
Yeah, it puts them on equal footing, and since he's defender.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. So there is an Ad Mech debuff / buff that was applied to let the Rust Stalkers go first. So we're going to throw all these attacks into the bikes before the bikes can try to murk us. So that's why we started over here anyway, because it didn't matter.
Right.
Basically, we got fight last.
Right.
And couldn't go before these Rust Stalkers no matter what we did.
Oh.
There's one bike. Did we only lose one? That seems reasonable if we only lost one. Did we lose any more than that?
I don't see a wound counter.
There's another. Okay, that's a wound counter right there. That dice, that red dice. All right, so only losing one. That could be a lot worse.
Oh, could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a lot worse.
We've seen it a lot worse.
Yeah. We saw the dice on Ryan's game last round just failed, and it was like the first thing that activated killed like 3 bikes out of nowhere. Like, well, that happens. You can't plan for that.
No.
Sometimes you just roll ones.
One is on a 6-sided die.
It is. It is an option. It is an option.
Rumors that is an option. Like, yeah, all I need is a 6. 1. Yeah, that's on there too.
Yep.
All right, so now we're getting the bikes with their melt-to-spears into these guys, and with these being 2 wounds, probably going to be able to wipe these guys out pretty quickly. We'll see. Which will then obviously give control of the objective back to the Custodes player. So bikes are punching back. Only 1 died. We're confirming that with our table spotter. This is the bike attack roll right here, or this is probably the wound roll actually. I think we already rolled the attack. All right. And making some saves. So that's probably the first guy that died right there. Now we're going to roll the rest all. That was probably a wounded guy, and now we're rolling all the non-wounded guys at the same time.
Yeah. So he's color coding his dice for that.
Yeah, Nick, absolutely. That was what we realized. Our table spotter told us that CP was to give the +1 attack to everybody.
Doubling his dice pool.
It's a lot of dice. We've seen it both rounds, this round and last round. It's a lot of dice. Oh, that was the Misericordia. That was a separate roll. That's what that extra dice was. Somebody had a Misericordia. And there go the Ruststalkers. No more right there, Edward Scissorhands. There are still Edward Scissorhands elsewhere.
Easy come, easy go.
Yep. All right, now we're going to
But
consolidate.
they did their job. They did some damage.
No, they absolutely,
Yeah.
And now the downside is you had to spend your like 300-point unit to go kill a 150-point unit because that 150-point unit would run rampant if we didn't address it.
Yeah. It's definitely something that had to be handled quickly early in the game.
But again, the Virtus Praetors, a great choice to do this because of their ability to re-engage quickly with the rest of the battlefield. They're not going to be out of position. They can quickly, they can easily charge anything in that back corner next turn as long as they're alive. Obviously, they have a nice speed element that a Custodes list typically lacks.
Yeah, and we've seen that in 2 lists so far.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of a unit of Praetors. I think they're the coolest looking model in Custodes.
Okay.
And I think they are one of the most utility, or they give the most utility of the regular GW Custodes models.
Yeah, I thought that their jet bike look would have fit the Dark Angels.
Yeah. I think Kasamael has a jet bike like that. I believe. Yeah.
So I was really surprised when those models came out and they were Custodes. I was like, well,
It's a real like 30K throwback for sure.
Yeah.
I think they all look like that in the 30K line.
Yeah. And then when they did the repulsors for the Space Marines, I thought, oh yeah, then surely they're going to do repulsor jet bikes.
Yeah.
But then they came out with wheel bikes, which I thought was an odd choice.
Here's what. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but man, do I have
We're going to
issues.
spend a lot of time on this.
Man, do I have issues with the Impulsor. Here's my problem.
Is that the El Camino one?
Either one, the Impulsor or Repulsor. I don't care. They're the same point. They're bigger because the Primaris Marines are bigger and they don't fit in the Rhinos, right? So we need to make a vehicle. We need to make a vehicle that's got a tall enough roof for the Primaris boys to get in. So why can't a regular Space Marine get inside of it? Because apparently there's some magic force field that says unless you have a Primaris DNA, you can't actually get inside of this vehicle.
I think it's the power armor hookups when you're inside.
Is that a thing? I really don't know.
Yeah, it's the cabling. So the Firstborn Marines can't socket in their power armor because of the way the Primaris power armor is taller. So it's like having your connectors being on the floor versus being halfway up the wall.
So here would be my rebuttal for that. In the year 40,000, I feel like we should have converters and be able to convert one power source to another power source.
What I heard is that Mars was working on it.
Okay.
They were getting around to
as
it.
long as Belisarius is out there trying to take care of it.
Belisarius is on his to-do list.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a lot, so I'll give him some slack. But
so yeah, so the headcanon is that all of the stuff for Primaris were specifically built to match Primaris armor. So Primaris. It's like having AC in England versus a connector here in the United States.
Yeah, and that's a better excuse than I've ever come up with, because I thought it was just stupid.
Yeah, because if you travel, you realize that you have to have an adapter everywhere you go.
Yeah, the stuff you plug in here doesn't fit
in other places. Yeah.
Right. So I think that's firstborn versus Primera.
That's fair. Okay. That is a far better reason than I ever came up with. I just thought about it. I was like, they're smaller. I should be able to sit here.
Think about it this way: micro USB versus USB-C.
No, it makes perfect sense. Absolutely. Yeah. That's by far the best explanation for it I've ever heard.
And you guys can use that at home too. Just give me credit.
Give him his props. Help him run on props.
Running on props.
All right, so Michael taking stock of the battlefield right now, figuring out what he wants to do.
He has some decisions to make.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff up in his face, and most of it's not friendly. So, in fact, I would say all of it's not friendly. They may both be in the Imperium, but Trajan Valorous is not here to suffer your bullshit today.
So he's done the wounds.
Yep.
No wounds.
There's a bike with it looks like 2 wounds left.
Is that what? Oh yeah, I see the dice right there. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we still got this little.
That one's unwounded,
down
we
there.
believe. One of the Dreadnoughts is wounded, we believe. But here's the thing: is those Ad Mech nowhere near that top left corner.
Is he leaving the building?
He's gonna have to. He's right now, Michael.
Because he's measuring up a suit of whoop ass.
Yeah. Right now, Luke controls 5 of the 6 objectives.
Ooh.
And that's let me tell you.
That's a game winner.
Let me do another math lesson. 5 is more than 1.
I have heard.
Yeah.
I've heard in this.
So
game.
if you wanna score points, you need to not be the person with fewer objectives.
So is that how you win?
Supposedly. I don't win a lot, so
I've
I'm
heard
not
rumors.
Sure. Yeah, I don't win a ton. I get to play Tom all the time, so I don't win a lot.
What's the separate profile?
They're talking about the Misericordia. There was a different colored dice we rolled earlier. There was like 20 blue dice and 1 red dice, and 1 red dice was for the Misericordia.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so here comes some of the 5-man units. We talked about this last round. You just have little 5-man units that don't really do anything except go play the objective.
Right.
Go and get the points while my big scary units do all the heavy lifting.
So why hasn't he moved these guys?
Well, this is only the beginning of the second turn.
Okay.
So he's starting his movement phase right now. He was taking stock of the field a moment ago.
Gotcha.
He was kind of evaluating what did he want to do this turn. So we are now in the turn 2 movement phase.
And there's a lot of guys back there in the backfield. A lot of units.
Yeah, there's several 5-man units, another unit of Ruststalkers, and a 15-man unit of Vanguard. So he's not outstuffed by far. We just can't see a lot of it because of the wall.
Right.
But he has got a ton of toys to play with right now. The question is, we saw he didn't kill anything last turn. Obviously, or I guess he killed the 1 tank. He killed the Palace Grab Attack.
Yeah.
So we would assume.
And he took some jet bites off.
He did some damage to various things. He killed the 1 jet bike, but it was on the Custodes turn.
Yeah.
So we have to assume that if you've gotten closer, I got more things that can shoot you now. Can it add up and we start seeing more models get pulled off the table?
He's going up the middle.
Petra.
He's going up the middle.
Petra.
There it is. He's made his commitment.
Did Luke not score any primary on turn 2? Luke didn't score any primary? Okay.
Because it's a hold 2, 3, 1. And he
Okay.
only has the 1.
Okay.
He's going up the
Wait,
middle.
what was down here? I don't remember. Because Luke has this one. And then something was contesting here last turn? When turn 2 started? I know the Ruststalkers were here. Or they were here to these 2. So what was here?
I think something Custodes was there.
Well, I'm saying, why didn't the Custodes get that one last turn? Is what I'm asking.
I know the tank moved onto there at the
So maybe he just wasn't there yet. Okay.
He wasn't there yet.
Okay.
That was the one that was right on top of the bunker for a while.
Okay. All right. I'm sure you guys are right. I was trying to remember.
It's in that building.
Oh, the Sagittarium are back here to 3-man? Okay. So these are those 3 shooty Custodes we talked about.
Right.
I'm a little surprised. Oh, I bet they came out to shoot the Ruststalkers last turn. So I'm a little surprised we're not just in the building, out of line of sight of everything back here.
He just hadn't moved on to it turn 2.
Okay, that's fine.
Can you shoot out of the building if you're on the 3rd floor?
As long as you have true line of sight. You have to there can't be an actual wall in front of you. There will need to be an opening or a window of some sort, but yeah. But what I imagine is he had to come, because I know this ruin has no windows on the bottom, so that's probably why they came out, as they wanted to shoot up here. But now their line of fire here, they're not really contributing, so it doesn't matter, because even if you kill these, just like with the Palace, if you kill it, it doesn't change anything. Because they're going to hold that, their dead bodies will sit on that objective until you come and scrape them off.
Bring the spatula.
Yeah.
Malosarius, we need spatulas.
It just so happens that in this game, opposite from our last game, dead bodies do hold objectives in this specific mission.
Right. Pile up the bodies. Let the bodies hit the floor.
That's exactly what I was just thinking.
Let the bodies hit the floor comes to mind. That should be the name of this mission. Let the bodies hit the floor.
All right, real quick, I'm going to take a moment while Michael is moving his plane. Make sure if you haven't done it yet, go and check out War Games Live. They're streaming the other top table here at the end of the event. They're on YouTube. We have Brad Chester playing Drukhari against, I don't know the gentleman's name, but there's an Orc player. And guys, let me tell you, the Orc player has a Stampa. We have a Stampa on the undefeated number 1 table, or number 2 table, at the end of a 5-round major tournament.
Orcs are making a really good showing this.
The Orc Codex is nice. There's just some stuff in it that probably needs to be addressed so that the other stuff has a chance to shine.
Right.
Right now, it's just there are certain things that are so good at what they do, there's no reason to do anything else.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of cool, so I'm playing Sisters right now. I built my wife and I are making our Sisters army. And Sisters army is very similar to the Orcs. There's a ton of stuff that's just good, and there's lots of choices because at least in the Sisters book,
the Flamers.
Well, those Flamers are good. The Meltas are good.
The Holy Trinity.
You got the Holy Trinity strat. You've got the pregame moves that Dominions can move vehicles again. You got the Celestine's great. Baal's great. There's just lots of cool, and they got tons of good stratagems and tons of good relics. Yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff.
Well, after 27 years of neglect, I think it's about damn time that the Sisters got some love.
Right, no, I love it. I'm playing
I have no feelings about this at all, by the way.
My point is that there's infinite choices. There's so many different ways you can build a Sisters list right now.
Sure, yeah.
The Orc list,
and then they're coming out with some kind of neophyte?
They have something coming out in Kill Team. We'll see if that transfers over. Yeah. But the Orc list, I feel like it's the same way. They don't have good strats. They don't have good strats. Their only good strats are their clan-specific ones, which is unfortunate. But they have tons of cool models that have cool rules and cool interactions.
Right.
The problem is, a lot of them are just slightly less good than the squig buggies in the planes. So if we can get that toned down, I think we see a lot of really cool, interesting Orc lists that would come out to play.
Right.
All right, last chicken's going into the grab tank in the forest. The tank only has 3 wounds left, so the last chicken's going to try to finish it off. What I was saying, guys, go check out the YouTube channel. Give them that like, follow, subscribe. Give us your like, follow, subscribe on YouTube. I'll put it in chat. Again, help the Omnissiah bless us with the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, the algorithms only react to likes and subscribing. And if you can ring the bell, ring the bell.
Yeah. I wish they would just respond to how many views you have. That's not how it works.
No. Because this video has 12,000 views and...
Yeah, but nobody likes it.
Nope. 30 people liked it, yeah.
Also, if you haven't had a chance, check out our Discord channel. Everyone on the team, Death or Glory, we're all in there all the time, all week, just hanging out, talking 40K, sharing memes, talking strategy, sharing paint schemes. We'd love to have you guys.
Also, keep the cussing down to a minimum, please. There's children on that channel.
I mean, there is Tom, and he is just a giant baby.
He is just a giant man baby.
Yeah.
There are man babies on there, so keep the cussing down to a minimum.
I'll give you guys a secret. We don't keep the cussing to a minimum at all.
Shh, that's our secret.
All right, so the last chicken missed again. They whiffed turn 1 and they whiffed turn 2.
That is unexcusable.
That's not what you have them in your list for.
That is not acceptable, and I would turn those units immediately.
So now the tank is popping the Shadowkeeper strat, which is the, I believe, -1 strength. So there's 2 things that the Shadowkeepers can do. Yeah, the list chickens failed, Nick. Absolutely. There's 2 things that the last chickens or the Shadowkeepers can do. They can do -1 strength, and they can say you can't reroll anything at all ever. You can't reroll hits, wounds, or damage.
Ouch!
So that coupled with -1 strength, and instead of force with -1 to hit, you can really mess up the math very quickly.
My whole army's on rerolling wounds and rerolling hits on
not
one.
even Shadowkeepers. That is the Cutodes really can flex that durability by adding layers of things that you're just not. Again, I talked about yesterday. You have the T5 army instead of T4, changes the math, and people just don't account for that right away.
No, they don't. It takes time to adapt to that.
Yeah.
And again, my whole army is based on a 12-inch bubble where I reroll wounds and I reroll hits on 1. That's my secret sauce.
Yeah.
If you take that away from me, I'm just getting. I mean, my plasma's overloading.
Look, I feel the same way.
My health blasters are exploding.
There's a bunch of armies right now that can give you like -1 to wound, and as a Blangos player, that offends me. Like, I'm here to get +1 to wound, and I'm not here for your shenanigans taking that
to
away from me.
nullify that. Yeah.
If I wanted to be an Ultramarine, I would be painting my stuff blue. All right, so it looks like Michael's still maybe trying to think about how are we getting these things off this objective. It's not, everything's a little bit harder than he intended.
Well, he's not doing it with damage from last
Not
chickens.
from the last chickens. Somebody else got to do it.
Oh.
Now, there are still last cans where the plane still has 2.
Can you recover from 2 complete fails on those miniatures? They're not pulling their weight at all.
Well, so the upside is that the grav tank doesn't do a lot. By not failing to kill it, you're not taking a lot of extra damage. But what you are doing is skipping your turn.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
And when every point counts, missing a turn is critical.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's be real. You don't get to the finals of a major, of a 5-round tournament, by just skipping turns.
No.
You need to be actively doing stuff
Yes.
the whole time.
Something has to be going on.
Yeah.
So what is this one dice?
Petra is typing. We'll see.
I saw a single dice roll.
Yep.
And again, dice just cluttering the table. Remove it. Thank you. Oh. Thank God the Cutodes players started using dice as wound markers.
Yeah. That's the big. And that even happens to me. I have different colored dice. I try to only roll I have like regular traditional white with black pips.
Yeah.
And I use those as my like rolling dice. And then I have colorful dice I try to use
for wounds
as wound markers, so it's
I can
obvious.
understand. Okay, you have red dice, those are your wounds. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Your white dice or green or any other color are your damage dice.
Yeah.
You're rolling for damage.
So as long as
wounds.
both players know, so there's never confusion on what something
Right.
is. All right, so let's see.
You're not tasting the rainbow.
The Manipulus is firing his single gun into the grav tank. He also missed. We're having all kinds of trouble right now. Now, to be fair, Luke has made it as hard to kill this thing as possible.
Oh, yeah.
-1 to hit in the forest, -1 strength. It's still got a 2-up save even if you do hit it. So he has done his effort here. What
To make it as invulnerable as he can.
and this is what Michael was trying to avoid, but he's having to do it anyway. The Rangers have popped Wrath of Mars and are now shooting the grav tank in the forest. He did not want to spend that valuable unit shooting a single grav tank. I know for sure he would rather.
That's not what he wanted to do.
Those 15 guys want to shoot those bikes.
Correct.
I'm sure they want to shoot those bikes. So he's doing this because he has to clear it off that objective. I don't know. I'm not sure I'd put that much effort into this because
For that one objective.
it's one objective that you don't even get. He's still going to hold it. Like he was the last person there. The dead body's going to stay there.
So the question becomes, what choices
All right,
does
we
he
killed
have?
it.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't do much right now. I mean, it do stuff later. It's not
Right.
there now, but it does take away engage, which Luke did take. So he's not going to easily just start farming the engage on all fronts. So maybe that was the plan. Is I just don't want you to keep getting engaged
Right.
without any effort.
Right. For free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's all he was thinking about. I just want to take your engage away. Totally reasonable at that point. If his plan was like, I don't want you to hold that objective, well, I have bad news.
No, that's not
But
going to
I'm
happen.
sure he knows better than that. I'm sure that's not what the plan was.
Because the flyer can't hold any objectives.
No. But a flyer can pick up
Troops?
Actually, no, it can't even do. I was gonna say it can't even take down banners, because you take down banners. Well, actually, no. The Custodes player has banners. So yeah, the plane's just there to murder things.
Yeah.
The plane does nothing else. The way that he has selected his secondaries, the plane scores no points. It is just there to kill things.
Right.
So.
I've seen a really good conversion where they used V-stall wings, like rotary wings on that, make it look a little bit more Ad Mech-y.
Yeah. There's a
versus Leonardo da Vinci.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the Ad Mech aesthetic just as a general thing.
I like the Vanguard.
Speaking of Vanguard, Vanguard is shooting the grav tank that is on the back objective in the bottom right now. So Vanguard are taking their turn. I don't know. There's something about the aesthetic. When my wife and I were picking a new army to play, and before we picked Sisters, we were considering Ad Mech. They're really good right now. Just kind of looking at them, and I picked up the book and I flipped through it. I was like, I think they look dumb.
I've seen some really good conversions.
I'm sure people can make them look better.
Yeah, like I don't like the Leonardo.
GW.
I don't like the Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Look of it, because you're talking about you're the most advanced, but then all your stuff goes back to 1500s.
Yeah,
that made no sense to me. But then I've seen people do things where they've taken the core model and done it, and even the new hover transports that they got, I've seen people use that. We use that in Weird War.
Yeah.
Where we've painted one of them gray and then made it like a German special forces weapon vehicle. So I mean, there's a lot of really cool kit bashes that can be done, but I just didn't understand the Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Feel to it.
It doesn't. To me, it doesn't feel like it matches like the bionic.
No.
Individual thing. So like I don't.
And maybe they're trying to do a Blanjitsu thing on it, but it didn't come across.
Yeah, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
It's not for me. And I can't in good conscience buy an army that I don't think looks dope.
Agreed.
Like, that's super important to me.
Right.
Like I want them to be good and I want them to look good doing it.
Right.
All right, so the plane is now shooting the Custodes in the bottom left, those 3 Sagittarium.
Oh!
And he shot the last cannon into the tank, which just picked it up. Now again, the only thing we're losing with those grab tanks is the ability to easily get engaged on all fronts. They're not doing a lot of shooting, but you know, now I talked about this exactly last round, where I like to stress the core of the unit or the core of the army to say now you have to spread out, and you didn't want to.
Right.
The Custodes army is designed around keeping those dreadnoughts close to Trajan. So if you had to keep all of them together, they can't go hold 3 objectives.
Right.
So these Pals grab tanks, that's what they're there for, is to hold objectives, get some engage points, get some points that don't have to interact. And now that is going to be passed on to the big heavy hitters, who that's not why they're in the list. So we'll see how Luke is able to accommodate for that.
How easily will he recover from losing those 2 tanks?
Yeah. So I mean, and we're very quickly getting to there's not a lot of models on the Custode side. Now the difference in this case versus what we saw last round, the models that are left are the good ones.
Right.
Whereas it was the opposite last round. We were left with the things that were less great in the list. We were left with the chaff.
Right.
Here the chaff is dying, but we still have the core.
You have the cream of the wheat.
Yeah. All right, so 1 dead Sagittarium and 1's left with 1 wound. So we killed 1.5. And they can put shots they put a lot of multi-damage shots into that Stratoraptor. The problem is going to be all their guns are strength 5. They have 2 damage and 3 damage shots, but they're all strength 5, so they're not going to be great into the Stratoraptor. All right, the Ruststalkers are charging the bikes.
We saw that coming.
Yep. Now we saw last time, what was it, 5 of them attacked and only killed 1 bike?
Right.
I'm going to imagine that was a result of a hot roll, because I feel like more should have died. So we'll see how many survive this.
Looks like he's moving up a Dreadnought.
Yeah. Now the thing of it is also, I think he's considering the heroic intervention. They want to make sure that it has the appropriate range to heroically intervene. Now the thing of this is that we can pop the -1 strat in melee also. We can give these Ruststalkers -1 strength. I don't know, let's see what their base strength is. Ruststalkers. Sicarian Ruststalkers. So they're strength 5. So making them strength 4 actually doesn't matter, because they're still going to be winning on 5s no matter what.
Right.
They do get, and this is important, we have mortal wounds. 6s to wound are going to be mortal wounds. And that, when you're rolling 50 dice, that adds up.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
And it already has wounds on most of the units.
Well, in the bike unit specifically, 1 guy has wounds, the other 3 are full health, but I think 1 guy's on 2 wounds. There's a total of 17 wounds in this unit.
Right. Okay. So he's not going to plow through all of them. Maybe.
I don't know. It depends. You're unlikely to kill them all with mortals for sure.
Yeah.
You probably are going to kill the wounded guy with mortals at the very least.
Oh, no doubt. Oh, I see 3 6s.
How'd it go? You got 100? All right. So our first undefeated result, our Tom Ogden, Mr. Death or Glory himself, is the first of the 3 undefeated tables to come out victorious. So Tom is looking at, hopefully, got 100 in this round, looking to get on that podium.
So Tom, how did you do that with an Ultramarine army?
Oh, I did it with Grat Army, actually. All Grats.
All Grat tanks.
No, we were just...
Pure skill.
And at one point, I heard you did pick up a Baneblade and just smack your opponent in the head with it.
I smacked myself in the head with it.
Oh, okay, that was what I heard. That was what I heard. All right.
For the WOG.
For the wall.
Yeah.
How's this game going?
It's pretty tight. It's pretty close.
Yeah, this is our second Custodes game in a row.
Yeah. This one's much closer at the beginning than the last one, for sure.
So is it top or bottom of turn 2?
It's the bottom of turn 2.
Bottom of 2.
Yeah.
And the other person scored primary?
No, because you had to hold 2, and both of them hold the other person to 1. And then they push back.
But there's a lot of dice rolling going on.
Yeah. So we'll see. If these bikes get through here with like 3 units, I feel like they're going to be in really good shape. If 3 models get left, I feel like they're in pretty reasonable shape to move it to the next turn.
And they can return some punishment.
Yeah. If he gets down to 1 bike or something, you have a different problem on
Right, right.
Because now we're down to like 5 models, and that's probably not enough. It's the classic Custodes problem. Your models are so important.
Yeah.
Each individual guy is so important. We lost 1 bike. We lost 2 bikes. Down to 2.
Is he done shooting?
And 1's hurt.
Oh, one's got
You know
a
what I'm a
window.
little surprised is we didn't see the captain stooping dive over to back them up.
Yeah, it hasn't used at all.
Yeah. I wonder why he's just not using He may just not value it very highly. He may just think that the CP that stooping dive costs.
It's not
Actually, I
worth
don't
it.
think he had the CP this turn anyway. It's 3 CP. I don't think he had 3 when this turn started, so that's probably
Okay.
why. But he also may just not think the stooping dive is as valuable as some of the defensive strats. So it'd be an interesting question for him after the game. All right. Oh, no, we're down to 1. 1 more bike died. He may have forgotten that 1 already had some damage on it. All right. So it looks like Custodes are punching back. Now, obviously, the Telemon can just like whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
These rust stalkers.
Yeah.
But you can only kill like 4 or 5 at a time.
If you is that a 6? It's like a 4 and a 6 maybe.
That doesn't seem like that would save. So
Oh, they got some wounds on them.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's go look at Petra's screen. So 1 CP was spent to give the bikes 3 extra attacks. That seems like a good rate. So if bikes got 3 extra attacks, which help clear out, looks like about half the rust stalkers, and it doesn't sound like the Telemon has activated yet.
Those are CP points well spent.
Yeah.
He did not waste them.
All right, so now the Telemon's activating. So that individual lone biker killed like half the rust stalkers by itself. Yeah. Oh, Nick says it's +1 attack for every model that died already.
Oh.
So that makes very powerful to use once they've already started getting the early kills.
And there they go, off the table.
So Eric says he doesn't think the cap stooping is usually worth it. And that's fair, yeah. My thought was specifically that it wasn't that he could take out the unit, but maybe he could reduce the number of attacks to where we could keep the other unit alive in a more meaningful number.
Right.
But if he doesn't have 3 CP, it didn't matter. And it looks like he had mapped out his CP the way he wanted to. He wanted 1 for heroic intervention on the Dreadnought, and then 1 for extra attacks on the bike after he knew he was going to get charged.
Yeah, he accounted for every CP point that he was spending.
For sure. So he definitely had a plan.
We did not know that plan.
All I'm saying is that as someone who doesn't play Custodes, swooping dive is a thing I would just be doing all the time. I would just be like, I have swooping dive. Like, you're on 14 inches away. I'm doing it anyway. I don't
Swooping
care.
dive.
Yeah. It just looks cool, man. It's a cool thing. Cool strat.
This is the rule of cool in 40K. doesn't make any sense, but it looked cool doing it.
It would be, I would be the guy back at like the Nova Narrative event, which I didn't get to play in because they canceled it. I was going to be a Warlord the last time they had the Nova Narrative, and I was super bummed they canceled it. But I had heard stories of like the Warlord like having his people on his team mutiny, and they would like, there would be people that would be like having Basilisk, which is a 240-inch range gun.
Yeah.
And so in the middle of the Warlord's game one year, someone on his team, like from across the room, started putting out the measuring tape from like 3 tables over because he saw that the other guy's Warlord was out in the open.
Yeah.
And he shot his own captain, or his own team captain's Warlord from 3 games over with a Basilisk because it was within range. And he mutinied by like assassinating the captain's Warlord. I was like, this is what I would be doing if I play Custodes. Like, oh, you're on the table next to me? Stooping dive. Gonna fly onto your table and fight. This is who I am. I think it was Brad who told me about that. He heard of like some guys like, yeah, I was like, I'm gonna mutiny.
3 tables away.
No, it was you. You told me about it.
3 tables away.
The guy like with the Basilisk who like mutinied in the narrative event at Nova. Yeah, that was Kramer who told me about it.
So you're doing it, we're having a great time with it. And the theme that year was that there was, 2 teams, human and aliens.
Yeah.
And the human team was rebelling. It was infighting.
Yeah.
So the guy I was leading the human team, the other was rebelling against my leadership. So he comes over to me, like I'm sitting at the table like this. He comes over with one of those tape measures.
Yeah.
That's the 100-yard like football tape measure.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm checking range. And I look back, he's going across the aisleway, across the table, and onto another table where his basilisks are all pointed over at me.
Oh no!
He's like, I got 240 inches. You're in range.
That's 40K in its purest form. Let me tell you. Infighting among the Imperium and giant guns shooting from the other side of the planet.
And you know what? It fits in canon.
So I had I was playing alternate. There was one other alternate player on the team. I said, listen, you're being ordered to that table to go sanction. So he drop potted.
Drop pot on the minute across the table.
on a different game. He drop potted on someone else's game to deal with the rebels.
Oh, I love it.
Narrative events are awesome just because of the nonsense that happens.
See, this is the fun you can have in 40K. Don't get stuck in some really tight stuff.
Yeah.
Let your nerd flag flow.
If you want to play competitive games and see who's just more skilled, go for it. You can do that with 40K.
Yeah.
But that's absolutely not the only way to play at all.
Correct.
There's way more fun things you can do.
That's all I'm saying, because I know that the YouTube algorithms will make you think that there's a very strict way to play 40K, but there are so many fun variables on this game that people really need to explore, and you just heard one of them.
I think it's best 40K.
Team 40K, yeah, that's something I really want to explore.
Teams or the ACO team, like those.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter if you won your game. If you're spending the weekend with like your 4 best friends playing 40K, who cares? And like you could lose and they win, and then you get to celebrate anyways. Like Team 40K is like a whole thing that I feel like is going to take off. Like I think like a lot of people are super into it, and it's not mainstream. And I think it's going to become more mainstream.
Yeah, it's going to get. It needs to. It needs to definitely do that.
Because I feel like, especially, it's like the best balance between like just having fun and trying to win.
Yeah.
Because you get to just hang with your guys all weekend.
Yeah.
Or hang with your girls. I don't want to be sexist. You hang with your team. Yeah.
The American Team Championship is held in the worst venue in America. Somehow we all drive down there every year to how great the event is.
All right, wait, we have some action.
It's hotter, like in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Conditioning is sort of there some days.
Maybe.
All right, so we have some action. The Sagittarium are shooting into the Stratoraptor. Oh, Nick was pointing out, Trajan has that special ability that once a game he can use any war or any stratagem for free. So he could have done swooping dive had he wanted to.
Okay, and it didn't cost him anything.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know that would have been a good use of that ability, but he could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, maybe he just doesn't value it as much as.
I think it's a really cool, flashy thing. I haven't ever run the numbers. We have Custodes people in chat saying that they don't think it's as great as it sounds on paper. So, all right. So we had a +1 weapon skill canonical going off. Looks like maybe we did something out of order, but that's okay. We should have done the weapon skill canonical before we started shooting. Not a big deal. I'm sure both players. That's on the list of things that could happen.
Yeah, that's
forgivable.
That is definitely forgivable.
All right, looks like the Dreadnought is shooting into combat with the Rust Stalkers.
right, looks like we're making some more saves on the rust stalkers. All right, I'm going to turn my mic off for a minute because I'm about to have a coughing fit.
Is any of this water or anything yours over here? Oh, you got it. So I'm gonna go grab some M&Ms real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be right back.
Not so far that when people use the bathroom, I can't hear them. I've had that happen. We were streaming at Bastion one day, and I had the headset on for the doubles tournament, and all of a sudden I hear,
Sound like it. Okay.
and I'm like, I know what that sound is. All right, so the other Telemon is putting the big storm cannon into the plane, then the rest of the guards into the Vanguard squad that are on top of the bunker. So we're trying to finish off this plane so it doesn't just keep running around doing whatever it wants unimpeded.
Every time I walk through this hall, I just see another beautiful army.
Yeah.
Just the amount of love and care that people put into this is absolutely amazing.
Have you seen the Stomper over here? The Stompa?
No.
I think it's like completely custom.
Is that a giant radar dish on it?
I don't think any part of that is out of the box. I think that is a pure custom Stompa. Yeah. All right, Lee's gonna go marvel at the Stompa because it looks just super sweet. Again, this is why you come to large events. Like, you can come wanting to win a tournament, absolutely, completely okay. But you know, I love just this is why my wife comes with me. She loves to just look at the kind of stuff that's here and just get energized about like hobbying. She gets creative inspiration from seeing stuff other people have come up with. It's just a really sweet way to kind of stay engaged with the community. All right, so 3 dead Vanguard, and the plane is down to 2 wounds from that Dreadnought. Now Trajan is going to shoot the plane, and apparently Trajan brought it down to 1 wound. So we have a single wound left on this plane. The problem is, I don't know if we have anything left to shoot it. Yep, and now we've moved to the charge phase, so we did not have anything left to shoot it. So Trajan and the Dreadnought shot the plane, brought it down to 1 wound.
Oh no!
Yeah, but we have so few things left on the board that there was nothing else we could do to it.
It's that 1 wound, they couldn't take it out.
I could not take it out. So now Trajan and the Dreadnought are charging the large unit of Ruststalkers and the large unit of Vanguard or Rangers. I think we shot a Vanguard down to 1 unit or 1 model. So there's all these Ruststalkers and the 15-man, or however many is left of it, that was a 15-man Ranger unit in the bottom right. So Telemon is charging the Ruststalkers. So nobody charged the Rangers. Trajan charged the lone remaining Vanguard that was up there on the bunker, and then Telemon is charging the Ruststalkers by himself.
Okay.
The nice thing is the way this is set up, even if he found some way to interrupt with the Ruststalkers, which I don't think he can with 0 CP unless he's got some weird relic thing again, not very many of them would be able to get in range of the Telemon anyway.
How many 0 CP do they have?
Well, that's the thing is, I think that it was like a relic or something, or a warlord trait, and I don't know if those people are near this unit anyway, so I don't know that it would come up. But he can do something for 0 once a game. Now the Telemon, the nice thing is, if he wants to keep his Telemon alive, if the Ruststalkers do attack it, he can, because Trajan could use the Shadowkeeper strat for 0, give the Telemon, or give it -1 strength while attacking the Telemon. So then the Ruststalkers are going to be attacking on strength 4 into a toughness 8 Telemon. Which that does change the math.
Double, yeah.
You're now hitting, or you're wounding literally half as many times.
Now you're hearing this from a math professional, ladies and gentlemen. Don't try this at home. If you do, use a calculator.
All right, so the Telemon killed half the Ruststalkers by himself. Just he one punch man and went through 4 of them. Went through 4 Ruststalkers.
The next 4 came up and got in a straight line for him to do it again. That doesn't seem like the best idea, but okay.
They're robots. It's kind of hard.
They're just following the programming.
It's a programming thing.
All right, so that objective now belongs to the Custodes. Everything that was touching is gone, and now Trajan and the Telemon are holding it down. And notably, the other stuff can't get past right now.
So how many points would that give him by the end of the turn if he holds those objectives?
Well, not until his next turn. He has to keep them. The Rangers can come down through the building, come around the back, and steal it back. So we're seeing a game of everyone's just stealing stuff back over and over, which is just, I love.
Hot potato.
The downside here is that this is going to make it really hard for either of these players to podium because of how important battle points are in this event. And when they're both making the other person get a 0 on primary, that's the absolute correct play. But man, that's going to bring their tiebreakers down
way down
a lot.
Yeah.
And we could even see a winner here with such a low score that they get jumped by someone who has a loss, which would be very unfortunate for that person.
Hey, the numbers are what they are.
It is. I mean, it's the way this tournament's set up. The players understand how the tournament's set up. So the bike captain charged those last chickens because those last chickens were so scary and had done so much heavy lifting this game. The bike captain's like, I need to go solve this problem.
Right.
Because these last chickens cannot continue to miss with every single one of their attacks. They're eventually going to hit, and I just need to stop before they hit somebody.
Right.
That was wild sarcasm for those of you who've just joined us. Those last chickens have missed every single attack they've made all game.
Not worth the points they put into them.
That's not what you expect from your 75-point models.
No. They have not earned a single point back.
Nope. They're about to now be negative points if they die.
Yeah, because I would judge a model's worth by, this is what I spent on it, and that's how many points it took off the table. It should at least be able to carry its own weight in removing points off the table.
That's one of the schools of 40K for sure. Is like, as long as you kill your points, then it was an even trade.
It was an even trade, yeah.
So it looks like we're now attacking back the Telemon, I'm imagining, and these are saves. Well, those may have been attacks from the bike captain. Now we're going to attack the Telemon. Oh, no, those were saves. And now we're on to the, looks like we're on to the Ad Mech turn, and these Rangers now want to come circle around. Or maybe the Telemon did also get in range, and now these are to consolidate. Our information could be slightly off. That if the Telemon charged both units, then they could, and that would be a mistake if he did that. If he charged the Rust Stalker, or if he charged the Rangers, and they're now letting the Rangers do that 3-inch pile and 3-inch consolidate to touch the objective to steal it back, then this whole play kind of did not pay off, which would be unfortunate.
Hey, you gambled.
Yeah.
It was a gamble.
Petra.
Two of my favorite people.
Did the Telemon get into combat with those Rangers?
Yes. Yeah. The Rust Stalkers and Rangers are right next to
Okay. The way you said it, I think you said it was just the Rangers. That's why I wasn't sure if this was like a heroic intervention or something.
Until after.
No, that's fine. We thought maybe he had charged in a way to intentionally not engage the Rangers. So.
No, they were like.
Okay.
Did you see the stomper?
All right, so then this was probably unavoidable then. If those were so close, then he had to charge both. Now we're getting the pile in. The Rangers with their OBSEC. Although, interesting, we'll have to see if Michael doesn't realize it, he could, if he only puts one Ranger, even though the Ranger is OBSEC, if he puts one Ranger on the objective, Trajan is still OBSEC, and then he would have 2 models on the objective to 1. So he's got to make sure he gets an extra 2 models onto the objective when he consolidates here after attacking the Telemon. So we'll see if he remembers to do that.
What are your over and under on that one?
So, I mean, right now the Rangers are just attacking by themselves. It's like he can't kill the Rangers. But the Rangers are OBSEC, and so I think he's moved one guy onto the objective to try to steal it out. But Trajan is also OBSEC. So Trajan and the Telemon right now are both on there, so he's got 2. So he needs to consolidate 2 more guys onto the objective, or he won't actually steal it back.
He won't score it.
So we need to see if he realizes that Trajan is OBSEC or not.
So is this the one with the flamer arm?
Yeah, they both have a flamer. Each fist has a flamer on it.
Each fist has a flamer, okay.
So they both have one fist and one gun. Then they have like a waist gun, but that doesn't really count. It's just like a regular bolter or something. It's an old school heavy bolter. Like strength 5 AP 1 damage.
Storm bolter in there.
Yeah.
Okay, that M&M's was not bad.
And again, these Rangers are, now the Rangers actually do reasonable work in melee because they're in the cohort, but I think you have to end up using like a couple buffs or strats on them, so I don't know how much they can do here now that we're completely out of resources. And Telemon is still one of the hardest things to kill in the game.
I think he waited too late to engage them. He should have engaged them a little bit earlier.
Yeah, we'll see. Both players are running out of stuff.
Yeah, quickly.
Like it's not like either one of them is not doing stuff.
No, this has been a very killy game.
Yeah. Nick's saying the top gun gets 10. Yeah, if you don't move, you get double shots, which I imagine is great when you're like in combat and you want to kill the little things that are bothering you. Since you can't move anyway, you're just like double load into it, which is great. That'll be great into the Rangers if the Telemon survives to his next turn. The underarm's getting 6 or 8 shots. All right, and it does look like he remembered to consolidate more guys on there because he did need to get 2 more guys onto that objective. It looks like we did that. So he will control this objective. So it looks like Adbeck should control 3 objectives right now. So it's probably going to be a 10-point turn, which, you'd rather have a 15 for sure, but since no one has scored primary yet, 10's great.
10's not bad.
10's great if everyone's got 0 so far.
This late in the game, yeah. Goose egg versus 10. I'll take the 10.
We're talking, Tom. This is a very close game. Both players are playing really, really well, but they're both consistently trading 0s on primary.
Yeah.
And we're pointing out how the way our event's set up, that's going to make it really hard for anyone in the podium if they end this game with like 40 points.
What turn are they in?
This is turn 3. We're about to have the second half of turn 3, and the score is currently 18 to 20.
Somebody with a loss could actually
jump whoever wins this game.
This game.
So they can only get maximum 30 then for primary?
It looks like Michael is going to get 10 when his turn starts because he just consolidated on. So he could still get 35 at most.
No,
Max.
40.
No, because you go 10. Well, I guess you could go 10, 15, 15. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I was thinking 10, 10, 15.
He's got to score. No, he lost. He can't beat Rochester now. He can only score max because he's only 1 point ahead of Rochester. Chester's going to get a 97.
Right. Petra just Petra just put 5s in where we've had 0s so far. Is this a hold 1 or a hold 2? Were we wrong? We were
2.
Okay. Petra, did you just change all the primary scores?
Yeah, for some, it crashed on my phone, and when I reloaded it, all of them were gone.
Weren't they supposed to be 0s? It had been 0s all game, unless you were telling us incorrectly. It had been 0, 0, 0, and then this was going to be 10. This is a hold 2.
Let me check. That's not what they've been keeping either. So he had,
We got a physical sheet to double check.
First round, or round 2, I guess.
Yeah.
Custodes had 2 objectives, so they got 5 points there.
It didn't load up on here.
If
Gotcha.
they have their score sheet, we're going to go by what they said. We were under the impression they had all been held with 0s so far.
It just digitally didn't load.
Oh, okay, yeah. Whenever I had to reload it, all the primary scores were gone. So
That's
I've
fine.
been updating
If they're keeping track on their score sheet, then that's what matters. Yeah.
Okay, as long as it's
Yeah. We were under the impression that they had been trading 0s the whole time.
we were
I
on,
even asked about it at one point. I was like, didn't they get 5 here? And she's like, nah. So it's fine. It's whatever. It's not the end of the world.
Sorry guys, we didn't mean to mislead
So
you.
it's not as low scoring as we thought, based on the information we had been receiving.
New data has come in through the
Yeah.
what is the Adbeck network called?
The
Astronomicon?
That's they have the telepathy thing with the psychers that like send their relays or whatever.
So we got new information through the webway.
So, we just doubled our score out of nowhere. So that helps a lot if you're trying to get first place. So Michael at least could still conceivably get to 50? 12, 45, 15. So he could miss. I don't know. I think Michael could still get to the 90s. Assuming he tabled Luke like very quickly.
Well, he's got to score a 96 or more.
Yeah. No, it doesn't mean that he can score enough, but I think he can still get enough to compete, to be in contention. when we thought he had 20 points, I was worried that wasn't going to do it.
Make
yeah.
it.
Turn 2, he had one in the back building that he forgot about when I asked.
No, look, if they're keeping score, I believe them. I was going off what I thought was happening. That's all.
I was just clarifying.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
We had a slight technological glitch early, but that's been corrected now.
Yep.
What you're seeing are the correct numbers. Mike does have a
Why
possibility
is
to
he
make
getting
it
a
to 90.
15 right now, though?
Yeah, ask Petra.
Petra. Why is he getting a 15 right now?
He holds 3.
They both hold 3.
Do they both hold 3?
Was it? Well, come here. Yeah, come here. This one right here. Was the last person on it, was it the Ad Mech player? I thought the Custodes was the last person to touch this.
Yeah, so Rush Doctors were on there and got killed in the Cutodes last turn.
Okay, so the Custodes hasn't moved on to this at all?
Not yet.
At any point. Okay.
No.
All right, then that's fine. That's why.
They control that upper objective.
I thought the Custodes had touched, the Dreadnought had touched this and moved off of it.
Not yet.
So you're saying this one?
Yeah, because the Ad Mech has top right, and then they have all the 3 on the right side.
Right.
The Ad Mech has top left, bottom left for sure. I thought they had been the last ones to touch the top middle left.
Gotcha.
But it looks like if the Dreadnought was never on there and he killed the guys in the shooting phase and melee phase and didn't get to consolidate on there, then that's fine.
Yeah, because
Okay.
there's no enemies that way for him to pile in that way.
Yeah, because the closest thing's the Rangers.
Yeah, and they're in the opposite direction.
Well, yeah, sure. Are not gonna. There may be a way. Tom, doesn't it look like you could have consolidated up towards the forest to technically get closer to the Ranger and then touch the objective? Mm-hmm. So that may be a misplay from Luke on that side then. That he may have been able to take 5 points away from Mike by consolidating north.
But if he's getting tabled and he's just 10, it doesn't really change it. If he can get 15, 15 or so max.
Yeah, you're right.
The question you have to ask yourself is how's Banner during turn 3?
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that in case you went second, which is what happened. The Adbeck player went second, and by the time they went, there was something on like all 5 of the objectives on the other side of the table. How do you feel about banners in missions where you don't have at least 2 objectives in your deployment zone? Because that's kind of my baseline, is I want at least 2.
I think it's a good choice in some matchups. I think where you're going against a fast-moving Custode army, it's not.
Sure. All right, looks like we are Wrath of Marsing, probably, or at least shooting the giant brick of Rangers into the Telemon. Again, I don't believe we've popped Trajan Valorous yet, so we have access to a strat, even though we have 0 CP, but does he want to use it here? We're not sure. That Telemon is getting -1 to hit from the forest, so that at least is doing something.
All the happy people at this event on your camera right now.
The happiest people are right here at the Michigan GT. Has Trajan used his free?
Not that we've been told yet.
Okay.
So I still have the message up with Petra, so she can let us know. We haven't been told about the free strat yet.
I'm also over by.
And it looks like this bike captain did not kill either last chicken. So fun time. Those last chickens have missed on every single attack all game. They have just not hit anything. All right, so the chicken went into the Dread. Finally did some damage. Last chicken did 2 damage to Telemon. The Manipulus fired and whiffed, and now the Marshal is shooting the Dread. So this is our first chicken sighting of the game. Jenna, this is what the people are here for. The people want to see last chickens doing work. The last chicken are the people's champion, right?
Is that written on the bathroom wall?
Yeah. Well, I mean, only in events where there's not a Harridan. When we have a Harridan or double Democarons, those are the people's champion.
Okay.
But I haven't seen any of those this weekend, so we have to settle for the last chickens.
I think the true people champion is obviously Black Hell.
It's the Emperor's champion. That's literally what he's called.
That's literally what he's called. It's in the description is in the name.
So are you arguing that the Emperor is just the people?
The Emperor is everything.
The Emperor is the representative of all the people.
And if you're the Emperor champ, that means you are the people.
And Black Templars have those great new bowl cuts.
Yeah. You know
Stylish
what?
hairstyles.
I think I got a model. One of my first champions was The Rock's face on it.
I was just about to ask you who you thought would win a fight between The Rock and the Emperor's champion.
If an Emperor's champion was really real, if you're talking about someone like the best martial fighter basically.
Right, but then we have to talk about The Rock as the wrestling character actually being real as what the character is.
Still, basically come in, The Rock was trying to hit him, break his hand on the Samurai.
I don't know, man. People's elbow might go straight through that ceramite. That's all I'm saying. I think he could. Just
It's the power of the people's elbow.
The Rock has lost to Vince McMahon in fights.
so. But here's the thing: if the Emperor, if the Emperor is people, because the Emperor's champion is people, that means that when The Rock uses the people's elbow, he's dropping the Emperor's elbow. You can't stop the Emperor's elbow.
Except
You can't stop the Emperor's elbow.
Except the Emperor's champion is not a psychic, so it's nothing special except his own strength.
I just say, man, Emperor, get that power to go through that ceramite like it's butter, like it's butter. Because now you're saying that the Emperor couldn't beat the Emperor's champion. That's just ridiculous.
Well, we're gonna watch this happen. Let's get back. Well, the Emperor's a psychic, and Black Templar Emperor champion, they're not.
Tom's getting very defensive about his Black Templars. He does not let people disparage them.
When his camera
You will not speak ill of the Emperor's champion.
I'm gonna get people's champion elbows when they camera.
I'd like to know why they don't give you enough decals to make.
All right, so it looks like we did lose the first Telemon. Telemon that was up here
Is gone.
is gone now. So
That objective is open, but
Not-
Telemon was
yeah.
the last one to touch it.
the dead bodies are holding that objective. And until those Rangers up in the top middle can get down there, the Telemon will continue to hold that objective.
So they got them on remove potential. They're moving in mass.
Same thing here. The plane is coming over to try to kill this last Virtus Praetor, but even if he does, the Virtus Praetor will continue to hold the objective in death until the Adbeck player sends somebody else over here to scrape the bodies off of the objective.
So once again, we're seeing the low model count of the Custodes being a hindrance in the game.
Well, specifically into the face of just buckets of dice, as we talked about.
Yeah.
Adbeck don't have the crazy buckets that Orcs do, but there's so many shots.
Yeah.
And they're not like they're bad. Like Adbeck shots are way better than Orc shots,
Right.
just on like efficiency. And when you're playing this low model count army, you have to come out and hold the objectives, and now you're just getting dice thrown at you, and at a certain point, there's enough dice that it doesn't matter what you're playing.
Correct.
And they're seeing this in back-to-back games. The low model count is just such an uphill battle. Doesn't like these guys? This guy's undefeated, so clearly he was able to get through the first 4 rounds successfully with a low model count army. But it's not easy. It's not easy.
And he's running up against that brick wall of dice.
Yeah.
Did really good, man.
All right, so we lost the Virtus Praetor. That's gone also.
Oh no!
So we're now down to 5 models. We have the 2 Sagittarium in the bottom left. We have Trajan and the Telemon in the bottom right. Then we have the Bike Captain up in the top right, all by himself with the Ad Mech running away from him.
He just lost one.
So now we're down to 4 models. We're down to 1 Sagittarium.
So what is this one?
That's the Bike Captain.
Yeah, what, is he going to swing back around? Or?
He had got the last chickens ran away just to come up and hold the objective and shoot. So like he'll go. I mean, there's not a lot he can do. He can kill. Like he didn't even kill a last chicken by himself. That's the thing. Is like he charged the last chicken and did 4 damage. Like,
see, those last couple of models holding on to that 1 hit point has swung this game.
yeah, because he can't keep sending resources in to kill things. And we saw it be a problem for the Ad Mech too. All the stuff on the first turn just didn't take damage, and then he had to keep spending extra resources he didn't want to. But the Custodes player doesn't have the extra resources to just throw at things when he needs to. He is so low on models that he's not going to be able. He needs all of them to like kill 3 times their points at this point.
Yeah,
and that's just not a realistic thing.
Yeah, last turn he needed to take those 3 models out. They couldn't. Having them hang around with 1 hit point was not beneficial to him.
The Telemon is killed. It looks like 5 more Rangers in melee. Looks like Trajan's also going to get a chance to kill some Rangers in melee. I think it's going to be too little too late, though.
Oh, he bumped the train.
Right. This was.
There's more terrain being moved.
I think these were attacks into the Telemon.
Yeah.
No, that maybe was been Trajan's attack. So he was pulled a Ranger. So he may make
So he was
saves.
rolling the save?
It may be what's happening. I don't have an update at the moment. Petra's waiting to see what happens. Yeah, I mean, we're bleeding Rangers. We just picked up a crazy number of Rangers.
Oh!
But again, I think it's too little, too late. Like,
Yeah.
there's
That
still,
needed to happen last round.
and there's still 3 Rangers there. So even after all that, the Adbeck player still holds the objective.
Yeah. High model count and heavy dice pools. Lethal combination.
Yeah. That, I mean, the Adbeck's basically, like we said, it's basically orcs, but all their stuff hits on 3s. You got tons of really good shots. And it doesn't matter if you're T8 with a 2-up save. If I throw 60 shots at you and they're all really good and I have good buffs, you're going to fail enough that you're eventually going to die. I would have been interested to see our previous orc list into this Custodes list, because I think that we saw the planes and the buggies, how good they were at killing like regular Custodes.
Right.
I feel like into T8 Telemons, the math changes significantly, especially if you're able to like give them like -1 strength on some of their guns, make half their stuff strength 4 instead of strength 5.
Right.
It really changed the math. I would have been interested to see that matchup. Because I just want to see how do the planes match up.
How it
against
comes
the
out.
Telemons.
Yeah.
All right, so Trajan looks like he consolidated. That can't be right. No, he moved. That's what it was. He wasn't engaged and he moved. We're on the Custodes turn now. So that score's slightly wrong. The Custodes has 5 for primary, not 1. Petra will update that here in a moment.
I think a lot of it updates on the phone, but it doesn't translate to our.
Yeah, we're having a weird thing. We haven't ever run it on a phone before, and so we're just getting some weird little.
Yeah,
like,
there's a
button
slight
clicks.
delays. There's delays in it. But
now, I also still love that the Custodes player is focusing on killing all these infantry because he still has no prisoners, and he still gets 1 point for every 10 wounds that he's killed at the end of the game. So all these little models that don't seem like they're like a big deal are going to add up for a lot of points
at the end of the game. Yeah.
If they add up for enough or not, we'll see.
I would feel much more comfortable if the Custodes had 10 more points to close that gap.
Or
At
10 more
this point.
models.
Yeah.
10 more models they'll go a long way right now.
10 models would be his whole army at this point.
I said the last Sagittarium is trying to do that last wound to the plane. That's the annoying thing, is he got that.
Holding on with one.
He got the plane the 1 wound and then it flew over and killed his last bike with 1 wound left.
Yeah.
Oh, the plane died or he missed? I got a thumbs down, but I don't know if it's thumbs down because he missed or because we killed the plane.
No, he missed.
Vegetarian and the blame looks like it failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plane's still there, so it probably means it didn't die.
Now what is he
So
shooting?
now the Telemon is shooting the Rangers that are next to it on the objective.
That plane held on with 1 stinking point. Jeez. How frustrating is that? That is incredibly frustrating just to watch. I can imagine being the person that's just
Nick in chat. He's probably got about 10 points and no prisoners. And then there's like a lot of multi-wound guys that died. And then, as you said, 2.9 dead planes. The 1 wound left that won't go away.
Ouch.
And I hate to say it, the score should be 38-51 right now. There's a slight error on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
But that's not counting no prisoners. I know we don't have a no prisoner score yet.
Michael?
Michael's up. Michael's up 51-38 right now. But he has bottom turn. My concern is now that I don't even we got, like I said, 4 models left. I don't know what's going to get to kill the plane now, because the stuffs that has been taking pot shots, they're about to die now.
Yeah.
So that plane might just
survive,
fly off into the sunset with 1 wound.
Yeah, it survives.
All right, Bike Captain's trying to kill this chicken that he wounded earlier. Kills a chicken. That's a dead chicken. Who ordered the extra crispy, everybody?
Was that Colonel?
Yeah, he is now. He made that chicken his something or other. It's a PG-13. I can say it. He made that chicken his bitch. We got a PG-13 stream. Let's go.
Hide your kids.
Yeah, Nick, I agree. The Sagittarium could eventually kill the plane, but I'm just assuming the plane's going to kill the Sagittarium first. Since the plane's now going to get to activate before the Sagittarium will get to activate again.
Yeah, it's who activates first will
since he missed this turn, and he didn't kill this turn, I'm assuming that he'll die before he could. It's not like the Adbeck player has that much left to shoot at.
Oh shit, they're packing up.
All right, the Bike Captain is charging the Vanguard, and Trajan and the Telemon are charging the Rust Stalkers in the bottom right building that we can't see. So they're going to go try to finish off, and then also take this objective. Remember, if Trajan and Telemon can kill all these Rust Stalkers, then the Adbeck player will all of a sudden be holding 5 objectives.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal.
That's a swing in the game.
Yeah. We assume that these top Scutari Rangers are going to come out towards where the plane is, come down through the forest, and try to get those two. But then we'd be back at parity at 3 and 3.
So far, the pattern has been the movement trays mean that all of those units are going to move into an area to take an objective.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're just assuming because somebody has to go over there. And those are 2 that are empty, and they're just sitting there waiting for the Adbeck player to take them. He just has to go get them. He's not getting them down here, obviously. There's nothing that's going to come get these objectives. So we talked about last game about flipping the table. This time we were quarters, and we now flip to, I think it's Dawn of War. We're now on the long sides.
So also, remember that the flyer cannot take the objective.
That's
so
right.
Even though it's there, it can't do anything.
It cannot take any objectives. But again, this plan is contingent on one. There's nothing else in that building that we can't see. If there's only Rust Stalkers, then this could work. And then he has to kill. He has to kill at least. He can leave no more than 1 alive, because actually no, Trajan. They're not OBSEC. Trajan just being there will take that objective, I believe, as long as Trajan doesn't die. Because I don't believe Rust Stalkers are OBSEC. And you're right, Trajan can fight twice. If the Telemon gets in there, it looks like maybe the Telemon failed to charge because he's not moved. Or there's maybe a guy right against the wall and he doesn't have to move. We don't know.
He just pulled the model from inside.
Yeah, well, I'm saying there could have been a guy right here and this is a successful charge. We don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. The joy of the single camera angle. Yeah. He has murdered all of the Rust Stalkers.
Next time we'll have it on a drone and just circle around.
So just so everyone knows, Trajan, choppy, killed all of the Rust Stalkers by himself. They're all gone.
What's the name of that halberd that they have?
Yeah.
What's the name of that weapon?
What is Trajan's name?
Yeah. I know it has a special name for it.
Let's see. So the Telemon may have fought first. We missed that.
Yeah, Telemon did fight
first. But regardless, we have confirmation from our table judge. All of the Rust Stalkers are gone. So unless there's something else in that building, the Custodes player now controls all of those 5 objectives.
What else could be in the building?
I mean, if there's like a random character or something like that. But I don't think it would matter since Trajan's OBSEC. So it would depend. But we obviously can't see under the roof. The name of his axe is the Watcher's Axe.
Watcher's Axe. Yeah. I knew it had a special. Champion of the Imperium.
That's a lot of heroic interventions. Yeah, I don't know that rule is probably not super relevant now, but it's still cool. All right, so this is close. He's now got to get his stuff down to those objectives. The downside is again, that plane's just going to get to fly over and do some stuff.
What's the score?
As at the moment, it's 51 to 38.
On top of what?
Top of turn 3.
Top of 3, 51-38. Adbeck. Adbeck has bottom of turn.
So Adbeck 51.
Yeah. I don't know why he asked. You could just literally walk around and look at it with us. Seems like that'd be easier. Just stand on this side of the table, look at the score.
It's your presence of authority.
Yeah, I guess. All right. So yeah, this has been a nail biter for sure.
They have just traded blows.
Yeah. This has been. It has appeared to be much closer than
we
what
thought
we saw
it would
in our last
be.
game.
Yeah.
So so this may be something we missed. We didn't see it in the corner here. It looks like we had a 5-man unit outflank, and they are walking on to come get this objective, and so these Rangers can focus on coming down here. So we knew the Ad Mech player was going to get 3 objectives at the end of their turn. Looks like they're going to be able to do it much easier than we expected. But they're still going to get the same.
Just came out there.
Yeah, so there's stuff in the building that's coming through to the other side. But we assume these Rangers are going to try to come through the forest and get down here. Now, if the Rangers do some kind of weird thing and get crazy bad movement, maybe the Ad Mech player only gets 2 objectives, and that gives the Custodes a chance to get a 10 on primary on turn 5. That could be a very big deal. We'll have to wait and see. But we see the score is currently correct, 56-40, with the Custodes player being able to push back and take all 5 objectives on his side of the board. So now the Ad Mech player has to respond. Now the nice thing is the Ad Mech player gets a chance to have an easy 15 at the end of the game because they're going second. And the way they changed the rules is that the person who goes last in the game, whoever has the last turn 5, they don't score their primary until the game is over.
Okay.
So they get that last extra movement on turn 5 to run out.
Which is enough to take those objectives.
Yeah. So it's extremely likely that he's going to get a 15, and almost guaranteed he's going to get at least a 10, even if something weird happens, he can't get a 15. So he is much more likely to get a double-digit primary score on turn 5 than the Custodes player is. What? No, this one's not done at all. I don't know if that one's done. This one's not done.
Now we're at the bottom of turn 4.
Yeah, I can see if we can see if our other undefeated match is done. I can just look on the internet. So I have it on my computer. Let's see. Do we have? So we knew that Tom Ogden had won 100 to 69. Brad Chester beat the Stampa 97-20.
Oh wow!
So we have. Let's see. We're down at our only other undefeated table is not done besides ours. So we had Michelle Mack and Darren Martin were playing there on the bottom part of the undefeateds. They had very low battle scores, and they were unlikely to be able to jump to the top of the podium. So we don't know theirs. We do know Brad won 97-20, Tom won 100-69. So those two are almost assuredly in the top 3. We'll find out the order at the end. And then we're seeing if one of these guys can get a high enough score to get in the top 3 with those gentlemen. Yeah.
So this is a nail biter.
Yeah.
This is a nail biter.
All right, so it looks like the Rangers did roll a high enough advance to just barely get to that objective. So Ad Mech player has retaken control of 3 objectives on the top side of the table. Oh, we're getting a message from Petra. See what's happening. So the Ad Mech banners, so they also were able to start putting some banners down. So now they're going to be able to start jacking this raise the banner score up. So we've already seen it go up to 6. They have other top players who have come over to the table to talk to Michael and Luke to see how everything's going. This is one of my favorite parts about competitive 40K. If you guys have never come to an event, the people who consistently do well all just hang out with each other.
Yeah.
And there's just like this tight-knit group of people who almost like game respects game type situation.
Translation, alpha male, double testosterone, hate-fueled orgy of miniatures gaming. No, it's a bunch of nice guys that just like
people. Everyone wants to play some good skill-based games, and
Yeah.
When they see other people playing good skill-based games, they get that general respect. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And again, they can share tips, stories, how's it going?
Yeah. I mean, I know
right?
most of these events, everyone just kind of goes out afterwards. Maybe not on a Sunday, but on Saturday, Friday night, everyone's just going out, hanging out, getting drunk,
Right.
talking about 40K stories.
Right.
If none of you have ever met Brad Chester, and you go to an event and you have the chance to talk to him, just ask him to tell you some shit. Because that man has stories, let me tell you. That man has stories.
He's seen some stuff.
Yeah.
He's seen some stuff, let's put it that way.
I mean, you have to when you're like 1,000,000 years old.
And no age discrimination.
No, it's just that's like Brad's whole shtick is he's just an old man.
Funny thing is, he's running out of stories because he can't do anything.
He's got to live in the stories since he can't make new ones.
Oh, ouch.
Well, you know, that comes with age, the inability to move out of your chair. Yeah. All right, so
We should all be so lucky.
the last Sagittarium died, it looked like, to the plane. So we're now down to 3 models. 3 models left. They're the 3 best ones, but they're the only ones that are left. Yeah, we're down to the Bike Captain, the Telemon, and Trajan. Not really enough to play the mission anymore.
So Mike will win this.
It looks increasingly likely. The Custodes player has absolutely been fighting tooth and nail. He's been doing everything right, and it's been super close the whole game, but he just doesn't have enough stuff left. At least that's how it looks to us.
Yeah, from our side.
Bottom of 4. Yeah, bottom of 4. And we may be at a point where the players kind of are able to predict the score on the next turn. We see the scorecard out on the table. We'll see. There's obviously, if you only have 3 models, there's not a lot left you can do.
Right. So you're saying a mercy killing would be good at this point?
Well, it may just be mathematical at this point. That they know that I'm going to do this and get these points, and you're going to do this and get these points, and because there's only 1 turn left. It's not like they're guessing.
Yeah. It's a handshake and off you go.
Yeah. So we'll see. They may roll it out. We'll see what happens. And they're not short on time. That's the announcement right now that turn 5 should be starting.
Yeah.
That's exactly where they are.
Yeah. I mean,
So
nobody's
they have time to play if they want to.
Yeah, nobody slow rolled this.
No.
You know. See, the 30K guys are wrapping up.
Oh, is that 30K back there? I
Yeah.
didn't even realize that's what we have back there.
30K. I see the Horus Heresy symbol.
The thing I'm bummed about, this event right next to me, Kings of War, I wanted to just get a chance to check it out all weekend. And it just, you know.
Sit down and play a
The
game?
I mean, I don't know how to play it. I just wanted to talk to some guys about
okay.
it or watch some games. And I'm going to have to go to YouTube for that now. I just, you know, it's hard to get away from the stream when you own the stream equipment.
Yeah, yeah. This is why you need a crew, right?
Yeah. So I'll have to. That's definitely my goal after we leave this event. Is I want to learn about that game.
An intern training thing. You could partner with like a school and say, "Hey, send me some intern kids that want to learn audio visual."
Maybe. I don't know how many kids want to give up their weekend.
Or want to be a reporter. Well, probably
We'll
quite
see.
a few
Yeah,
now.
there may be more. Yeah.
Just get me the fuck out of the house.
All right. So we're still doing some quotes. Are they talking it out or what's going on?
46. No, there was some dispute over.
Is this right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I mean, that's again, we don't have no prisoners, but
Yeah, there was some dispute over whether or not. So, like, he didn't know that there was one ranger that was in a building. So they were debating whether or not to let him resolve attacks on it. Because if he resolved those attacks on his Dreadnought, which had more guns to shoot, it would mean that the other guy doesn't score strength.
okay.
So they were talking.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
It got a little testing, and they turned to me, and I was like, "Look, I'm just watching."
Okay.
I was like, "We have judges."
Did they already talk to a judge about it?
No, I think they settled it.
Okay.
As gentlemen should.
Who needs a judge?
Who needs a judge? We are gentlemen players, sir. When in doubt, roll a 6. Harumph, I say. And that happens.
Yeah.
You miss a model. I know that
We've all been there.
Yeah, some guy was saying that like they cleaned up after a game, and then there was like one model left in the building.
Yeah.
You know.
Happens all the time.
Yeah. And I got half my collection that way.
They're giving out Kings of
You
War
want
prizes.
to take my seat for a minute? Because I need to go to the restroom anyway. Snigs, you want to get on the mic?
I'll stay here.
Yeah.
All right, here you go.
We're doing color
Take over
commentary.
for me.
I'll take over for you.
So are they rolling to resolve that one unit in the
Of course,
building?
you yank it out of my hand.
I apologize.
So we're at the top of turn 5. They're ahead of game a little bit.
Top of 5, Ad Mech, 59-41.
Cutodes are at 41. Ad Mech is at 59 victory points. This has been a nail biter the whole session.
Well, I'm glad that it's a nail biter because Mike actually beat me last round, so he deserves a tough match.
Yeah, yeah. Because they've been trading objectives every turn. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. But I think the Cutodes is at a disadvantage because he has such a low model count and he has to hold five objectives. And he didn't remove enough of the Ad Mech's models, miniatures, before this turn.
Right, yeah, because on all the Bill set this up where all of day 2 was domination for the primary, which
Yeah.
is hold 2 and then hold more.
Right.
So hold 2 for 5 points. That can really curb somebody's scoring.
Sure.
And if you push out too hard because you want to get those 15s,
Early on, yeah.
somebody can make
You can pay for that.
Yeah, they can make you pay for that. They can make you really regret ever leaving your deployment zone.
Especially when you have a low model count like the Cutodes.
Yeah. Now did Ad Mech have top of turn or bottom of turn?
Top.
So Ad Mech has already taken their turn, or they're taking it now? So it looks like
I think
Luke
they get to
is-
move last.
Oh, Ad Mech had bottom?
Yeah.
Okay. That may also explain some of the results here.
Because Cutodes is going now.
Ad Mech has a very high win percentage when they go first.
Also, there was a model in the building that he didn't notice. I mean, one thing you have to look around. You have to go around your board when you're strategizing.
Yes.
Because if you miss it, is it the other player's fault? I mean, that's something that has to be worked out, especially when you're dealing with multi-level terrain.
Yeah. Thank you for the heads up, Nick. Yes, Ad Mech is bottom. So, with Ad Mech being bottom, there's a good chance he may score a 10 or a 15 at the end of the turn.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going for. He's going for the 15.
But that may be hard if the Custode player if he's on 3, then the Ad Mech player will have to shoot him off 1 to get a 15.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if Luke's done moving yet, but right now it looks like he's on 2 at least.
And a lot of these, he was the last one to touch them. So if you're the last one to touch them, they're yours.
Yep, they're sticky objectives, so they're scoring something. I wish I could read upside down and backwards. Looks like they might be talking out the end of the turn.
Howdy, what's the final score?
Is
59-7.
is that actually the final?
Yes, that includes.
Are they done?
That includes paint? That includes paint? 5970 Ad Mech.
70. Ad Mech.
Looks like Mike pulls it out. Not sure of final overall positioning, but we'll see where he ends up. I'll pass it back over to the main man in charge, because he's more important than I am.
All right.
Nah, no such thing.
So we can look very quickly at what our final points may be, now that we know what our final score is. So Mike got 70. So let's go look at the placings. So Michael Sarapata, he started with 392, so he's going to be to 462, which is, he is going to looks like just miss out. He's going to be under you. So it looks like 462 is going to be enough to put him in 5th place. So we're going to have, looks like Brad Chester with 488, and then a close photo finish with Tom Ogden with 486, just 2 points behind. And then it looks like, as we talked about, those battle points being so important in this tournament, Kramer Doyle is going to be jumping over Michael with a 466.
Did Kramer have a loss?
Kramer lost in round 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'll make sure I'm not crazy, right? He had 392 just down here. At 392 plus 70 is 362.
And he's a professional.
Yeah, so
with numbers.
We're gonna have Kramer Doyle with 466 and Jason Snigowski with 463 by 1 point.
Remember, for overalls though, we got paint and other things.
Yeah, so there's still lots of prizes to be won. That even coming in 5th place doesn't matter.
All of the faction prizes are based on an overall score, including paint, and paint was 1/3 of your total points.
And the grand champion is going to be paint score plus who got the most battle points anyway. So there's still, like, even being a 5th place, still plenty of contention for that as well.
Oh yeah,
so
definitely.
we will end up seeing who takes home which prizes. I don't think we're going to be streaming that information. I'm sure it'll be posted somewhere. But thank you guys for spending the weekend with us. We hope you enjoyed it. We had 10 awesome games of 40K streamed this weekend. Again, I'm going to put it in chat one last time. Please, if you haven't checked out the YouTube page,
like, subscribe.
If you give us that like, subscribe, follow. Tomorrow, click the bell. Tomorrow, all of today's matches will be uploaded to our YouTube channel if you want to rewatch any of them. We really appreciate you guys spending the weekend with us. We appreciate your support. And I guess the next time we have a big event, it's probably going to be yours, right?
Big event, Maple City's coming up.
Oh, Maple City's before yours, yeah.
And then Glass City GT. Glass City GT is not sold out yet.
And that's in November?
Second weekend of January.
January. Maple City's the one in November.
Maple City's November, yep.
So Maple City in November and then Glass City in January. So if you guys want to get some winter 40K, we'll definitely be streaming. Come up here, play some games with us, get drunk with us. We'll have a good time no matter how you want to cut it.
Yeah.
So thanks for spending the weekend.